Curfew restrictions eased in Sunsari as authorities maintain security measures across affected areas. Home Minister Gurung reaches Dhanusa. Nepal Prime Minister Shah pays tribute to Nirmal Purja and fellow climbers killed on Pakistan's Broad Peak avalanche. Nepal completes digitization of one-stop service centre, platform aimed at simplifying business approvals and attracting more foreign investment. Spain says at least 67 killed while attempting to reach North African enclave of Ceuta, also lashes response of some EU countries to migrant crossings. Russian missile strikes on Kyiv kills at least 9. Ukrainian drones sink Russian-owned ship in Black Sea. And FIFA scraps controversial World Cup investment plan. UEFA says it lost confidence in Infantino's FIFA leadership. Good evening, I am Ipula Gising Lama and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in detail. Authorities in Sunsari district of southeastern Nepal have partially lifted a curfew imposed earlier following unrest, allowing public movement from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time while keeping other security restrictions in place. This curfew was enforced on July 28 after incidents of tension and disruptions, with local authorities citing concerns over public safety and maintaining law and order. Although daytime movement has been permitted, prohibitory orders remain active in several municipalities and rural areas, including parts of the Mahendra Highway corridor. Under Nepal's Local Administration Act, authorities have restricted gatherings of more than 5 people and prohibited processions, demonstrations, public meetings and sit-ins in the affected areas until further notice. Similar security measures have also been implemented in other districts following incidents of unrest, with district administrations taking steps to prevent further disturbances and maintain social harmony. Officials said the restrictions would be reviewed based on the evolving security situation and public order conditions. Security agencies have urged residents to follow official directives and avoid activities that could disrupt peace and stability. Meanwhile, Home Minister Sudan Gurung has arrived in Dhanusa today to normalize a situation of clashes between two communities and bolster peace and security in the country. Minister Gurung held dialogue with representatives of the local Hindu-related organizations at the office of the Dhanusa District Administration Office in order to normalize the situation and maintain religious and social goodwill. The discussion revolved around overall situation of peace and security in the district and issues of keeping normal life and ending misunderstanding between the two communities. Chief of Janakpur Dham Sub-Metropolitan City, Manoj Kumar Shah, House of Representatives member Manish Jha and representatives of Hindu Samrat Sena participated in the meeting. Meanwhile, Nepal police has arrested 36 individuals across 5 districts in the southern Madhya province on charges of disrupting communal and social harmony. Police headquarters said 19 arrests were made in Dhanusa, 9 in Sarlahi, 5 in Siraha, 2 in Mahotari and 1 in Parsa. Authorities said the suspects are under investigation and legal proceedings have been initiated. Police have also urged the public not to spread misinformation or engage in activities that could fuel social unrest or communal intentions. The arrests come as authorities step up security measures following recent incidents of unrest in parts of southern Nepal. In other news, Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah has paid tribute to world-renowned Nepali mountaineer Nirmal Purja, also known as Nimsdai, and other climbers who have lost their lives in an avalanche on Pakistan's 8,051-meter broad peak. In a message shared on social media, Shah expressed his heartfelt condolences to the revered families, relatives and well-wishers of the deceased climbers. The Prime Minister said mountaineering is more than reaching a summit, describing it as the highest expression of courage, discipline, sacrifice and the determination to push the limits of human endurance. The avalanche struck Broad Peak on Thursday, killing celebrated mountaineer Purja along with his guide teammates. Pur Bahadur Gurung and Nima Sherpa. Purja's company Elite Exped confirmed the incident through a social media statement and expressed profound grief over the loss. The bodies were located near Camp 1 during a drone survey on Saturday morning and later identified by a rescue team led by Mingma Gyalje Sherpa and Sirbaj Khan. We're going for a short break here. More news coming up. Do stay with us. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Welcome back. Nepal is betting on digital reform to attract foreign investment. The government says it has finished converting its one-stop service center, the single office meant to fast-track industry approvals, into a completely digital system. The goal, let investors handle everything from company registration to land acquisition on one online platform without ever walking into a government office. Smitu Gising Tamang along with Kamala Ariel brings more.
For years, setting up a business in Nepal has meant navigating a maze of separate government offices. One for company registration, another for tax, another for land, another for electricity connections. Investors, both local and foreign, have long complained that this fragmented process slows down projects and discourages investment in one of South Asia's smaller landlocked economies. Now, the government says that's changing. The Department of Industry has completed work to digitize its one-stop service center, often called the OSSC, and is refining it into what officials call a single-point service system. Once fully rolled out, investors will be able to apply for foreign investment approval, register a company, handle tax registration, secure land and forest-related clearances, register their industry, and even arrange electricity and infrastructure connections all through one digital platform. Behind the scenes, the government is linking up the databases of multiple agencies so they can talk to each other. According to the Department of Industry, the system is already integrated with the Immigration Department, the Company Registrar's Office, and Customs. Linking with Nepal's central bank, the Nepal Rashtra Bank, is in its final stage. Officials say the payoff for investors will be simple. No more submitting the same paperwork to 5 different offices. Information will move automatically between agencies, cutting delays, and they hope cutting corruption risk that comes with repeated in-person visits. 14 government bodies in total, including the Departments of Inland Revenue, Forest and Energy, are being brought into the coordinated system.
यो अहिले भएको एकल बिन्दु सेवा केन्द्रको प्रभावकारिताका सन्दर्भमा जुन यो भौतिक रूपमा यहाँ छ यसलाई चाहिँ अहिले हामीले डिजिटल अथवा अनलाइन अथवा भर्चुअल रूपमा सञ्चालन गर्ने गरी अब सिस्टमको विकास गरिराखेका छौं यसलाई हामीले अनलाइनमा लगेर अहिले यहाँ जति पनि निकायहरूको संलग्नता रहन्छ अथवा थप रहनु पर्ने हो अब त्यो चाहिँ आफआफ्नै निकायमा बसेर हाम्रो सिस्टम प्लेटफर्म मार्फत काम गर्न सक्ने गरी र अनलाइनबाटै सेवा दिन सक्ने गरी हामी त्यसरी मिलाउन लागिराखेका छौं.
The department is optimistic. The fully digital single window system will make establishing an industry, securing investment approval and managing that investment faster, simpler and more investment friendly. But there's a note of caution here. This isn't the first time Nepal has promised to fix its one-stop service. Previous attempts to streamline the OSSC have been announced before, only to stall in implementation, a pattern that has left many investors watching this latest push with cautious rather than full confidence. For now, the government says the digital backbone is largely built. The real test will be whether it actually delivers the faster, friction-free investment climate Nepal has promised for years.
Nepal's Department of Passports has expanded its services by operating in 2 shifts and opening on public holidays to manage the increasing number of service seekers. The department in Kathmandu's Tripureshwar is currently providing services under the extended schedule. Since July 14, it has been issuing 1,500 application forms daily, with employees working in 2 shifts to speed up service delivery. The move aims to facilitate Nepali applicants seeking to participate in South Korea's employment permit system, EPS, by ensuring easier access to electronic passport services. The first shift operates from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., while the second shift runs from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. The department will also remain open on public holidays, including Saturdays and Sundays, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to provide services to applicants. Now, Nepal Oil Corporation has begun selling cooking LPG cylinders from its Teku office in Kathmandu in an effort to streamline supplies amid consumer complaints of shortages. The state-owned fuel supplier says there is no nationwide shortage, citing strong import volumes, and attributes recent supply disruptions to the transition from 7.1 kilogram to 14.2 kilogram cylinders, adding that the situation should normalize within a week. However, consumers in Kathmandu and other parts of the country say they are still struggling to obtain LPG, with many retailers reporting they have not received fresh supplies. The corporation has urged the public to avoid panic buying, purchase gas only as needed, prioritize household use, and report supply problems through its hotline. Nepal is observing the second National Millet Day today, with various awareness programs aimed at conserving and promoting millet cultivation. The government officially started celebrating National Millet Day from last year after the Council of Ministers approved the proposal of the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. The day is observed annually on 16 of Nepali lunar calendar. Agricultural organizations had been advocating for official recognition of the day and had been observing Millet Day for 5 years before the government declaration. The campaign gained momentum after the United Nations declared 2023 as the International Year of Millets. Agriculture experts have called for increased millet production, citing its nutritional value, low production cost, and ability to grow with limited use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. They have also warned that growing imports of millet are affecting local production, as millet imports have continued to rise despite it being a native crop with a long history of cultivation. Government data shows Nepal imported millet worth 75.44 million Nepali rupees in the fiscal year 2023-24, compared to 73.20 million Nepali rupees in 2022-23 and 7.22 million rupees in 2020-21. World Breastfeeding Week has begun, marking the annual global campaign held during the first week of August to promote breastfeeding and improve maternal and child health. This year's theme, Breastfeeding for a Sustainable Start to Life, Strengthening Effective Practices, highlights the need for stronger support for mothers and newborns through healthcare system, communities, workplaces, and public policy. Backed by the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and health ministries worldwide, the campaign aims to improve access to breastfeeding counseling and support, which remains inadequate for many families. Health experts say breastfeeding provides essential nutrition, strengthens infants' immune systems, supports brain development, and also reduces mothers' risk of diseases such as breast and ovarian cancer and type 2 diabetes. In Nepal, where breastfeeding rates have declined in recent years, a series of awareness programs will be held throughout the week to encourage and support effective breastfeeding practices. Time to go for a short break again, but we shall be back with more updates. Spain has condemned the selfish, polarizing and unlawful reaction of some EU countries to the influx of about 60,000 migrants from Morocco to Ceuta. Officials say almost all those who reached the enclave on 30 July have returned, while Spain's Interior Minister Fernando Grande Marlaska said on Saturday that the death toll had risen to at least 67. It comes after Italy temporarily suspended the EU's border-free Schengen arrangement with Spain, as Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni called the scenes shocking. Finland and Denmark backed Italy's move, while Czech Prime Minister Andrej Babiš urged a temporary suspension of Spain's Schengen membership. Meanwhile, 22 of the EU's 27 countries also called for emergency talks in an open letter, citing serious concerns regarding the developments in Ceuta. Now, at least 9 people have been killed in Russian ballistic missile strikes on Kyiv, local officials have said. A further 28 people were injured in the attack on the Ukrainian capital on Saturday morning, according to the country's state emergency service. Moscow has escalated deadly ballistic missile attacks on Kyiv recently, prompting President Zelensky to say that missile interceptors are urgently needed. The strikes come 2 days after a suspected Russian cruise missile landed in Poland during a widespread attack on Ukraine that killed at least 8 people, including 6 members of one family. Separately, Ukrainian drones sank a Russian-owned container ship in the Black Sea, according to Zelensky. The United States has intensified its pressure on Iran, with U.S. Central Command confirming it has redirected 30 commercial vessels, disabled 2 ships, and boarded 2 others as part of its maritime blockade through July 31st. Speaking during a cabinet meeting, U.S. President Donald Trump said Iran must never be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon. On Gaza, Trump said he has reached an understanding with Israel on a plan to disarm Hamas, describing it as a major breakthrough.
In less than 18 months, we've turned around 4 years of disaster. We now have the strongest border in American history. We went from the worst border, I believe, of any country in history. 25 million people came through in 4 years. And these are people that, in many cases, you don't want. They were murderers, they were drug dealers, they were people that you do not want. But now we have the strongest border.
Now, a truck loaded with explosives detonated outside a police station in the Colombian border city of Cúcuta, triggering a major security response just 6 days before the inauguration of President-elect Abelardo de la Espriella. The blast occurred near the Venezuelan border, with authorities assessing the extent of the damage and investigating those responsible. Security has been heightened amid concerns over potential threats ahead of the presidential inauguration. Now, officials have said the investigation remains ongoing. At least 5 persons have died as relentless heavy rain triggered floods and landslides across the southern Indian state of Kerala. A woman was killed after a landslide buried her home in the hilly Idukki district, while rescue teams are searching for several people feared trapped beneath debris in Kottayam district. India's weather agency has issued a red alert for 9 districts, warning of more heavy rainfall, thunderstorms, lightning and wind gusts of up to 60 kilometers per hour. The highest alert remains in place for several districts, including as authorities urge residents in vulnerable areas to remain indoors and follow evacuation orders where necessary. Two more updates, but before that, time for a short breather. Firefighters battled a fast-moving wildfire in a popular coastal resort northwest of Athens as strong winds continued to hamper firefighting efforts and drive the flames across dry terrain. Ground crews supported by water-dropping aircraft and helicopters were deployed to contain the blaze, while authorities monitored nearby communities amid concerns the fire could spread further. Officials urged residents to remain alert and follow emergency instructions as crews worked to bring the wildfire under control. No immediate reports of casualties were released, but the fire prompted heightened emergency response measures in the affected area. In other news, Vietnam is celebrating its rich ethnic heritage with a month-long cultural festival at the Vietnam Ethnic Culture and Tourism Village. Throughout August, more than 130 artisans and community representatives from across the country will showcase traditional customs, music, dance and handicrafts, giving visitors a glimpse into Vietnam's diverse cultural identity. One of the main attractions will be the reenactment of the Ta Kon Festival on August 23rd. Recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage, the Khmer Festival reflects spiritual traditions and prayers for a successful harvest. The celebrations will also feature Mekong Delta folk songs, traditional performances and interactive cultural experiences, highlighting the customs and traditions of Vietnam's many ethnic communities. Moving on, Turkey's Çekerek Lavender Island is drawing visitors from across the country as the world's largest lavender island. Located in Yozgat province, the island covers around 150 hectares and is home to nearly 250,000 lavender plants, creating a stunning sea of purple during the blooming season. Beyond its natural beauty, the island supports the local economy through the production of lavender oil, soap, cologne and other lavender-based products. Visitors praise the destination for its peaceful atmosphere and breathtaking scenery, making it a favorite spot for photography. Many say it offers the beauty of famous lavender fields in the heart of central Anatolia without the long journey to Turkey's well-known lavender-growing regions. Time for sports update. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has withdrawn a controversial proposal to sell a stake in the commercial rights of the FIFA World Cup after facing strong opposition from the global football community. The plan aimed to raise up to $4.2 billion by selling around a 20% stake in a new entity that would manage FIFA's major tournaments, including the men's and women's World Cups. Infantino said the proposal had become too decisive and confirmed it would not move forward. The move came after UEFA, European football's governing body, said its 55 member associations would boycott FIFA competitions if the plan was implemented. The proposal had also drawn criticism over concerns that private investment could increase commercial influence over the governance of the world's biggest football tournaments. Now, meanwhile, UEFA says it has lost confidence in Gianni Infantino's FIFA leadership as the fallout from the scrapped controversial investment plan intensifies. This followed after Infantino said FIFA would no longer proceed with the proposal to sell stakes in the governing body's competitions to private investors. UEFA, which governs European football, had earlier voted to boycott World Cups if the plans went ahead, and other governing bodies also voiced their opposition. UEFA has said it welcomed the decision to withdraw the plan, describing it as a victory for the whole game. It also accused Infantino of failing to deliver on promises, quoting a speech he gave when campaigning to become a FIFA president in 2016. The fallout from the plans means Infantino is now under immense pressure as he seeks re-election for a fourth term as president at the FIFA Congress in March. Now, before wrapping up, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Curfew lifted in Sunsari as authorities maintain security measures across affected areas. Home Minister Gurung reaches Thanusa to hold talks. Nepal's Prime Minister Shah pays tribute to Nirmal Purja and fellow climbers killed in Pakistan's Broad Peak avalanche. Nepal completes digitization of one-stop service center, platform aimed at simplifying business approvals and attracting more foreign investment. Spain says 67 killed while attempting to reach North African enclave of Ceuta. Also lashes response of some EU countries to migrant crossings. Russian missile strikes on Kyiv kills at least 9. Ukrainian drones sink Russian-owned ship in Black Sea. And FIFA scraps controversial World Cup investment plan. UEFA says it lost confidence in Infantino's FIFA leadership. That's all for the moment. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu, Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
आँखामा हेर यो माहौल तिम्रो शक्ति मेरो आत्मा the golden light that starts to glow the quiet peace that helps you grow this power comes from deep inside a rising never ending tide this is me this is my soul ma make my spirit whole
not only the female perspective as a man हामी आफैले चाहिँ आफ्नो छिट्टो एउटा चाहिँ नि त्यो एउटा चाहिँ म भन्ने शक्ति एउटा चाहिँ नि हामीले आफैले बुझेर त्यो मनन गरेर चाहिँ काम गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ.
Her works more says about the inner emotions and psychological world of the woman through a lot of imagery and a symbol like a third eye.
Pain has to support art, otherwise art is not seen and known by others.
It feels like women are the universe and they are the ones who creates, and without them this universe is empty.
Look inside ourselves, and look inside our own id to see what we are and how we navigate in the world.
नयाँ palette पनि आएको छ उहाँको, very light biscuit color जस्तैमा with very minimalistic lines.
Ma has always been so close. Like this exhibition is also like a reflection for me.
मनको दियोलाई चाहिँ बालिराख्नुपर्छ.
Darbar Marg. It is the pulse of our city, loud, fast, and constantly moving. But just a few steps away, behind these doors at 108 Art Gallery, the world changes. The noise of the street fades into a profound golden silence. For over 3 decades, Irina Tamrakar has been a defining voice in Nepali contemporary art. Known globally for her Third Eye series, she now pivots inward. Welcome to Creative Forum. Today we explore Ma, myself, that me within us.
यो सोलो आउनुभन्दा पहिला म निकै वर्ष चाहिँ धेरै वर्ष थर्ड आई सिरिजमा काम गरेको थिएँ. थर्ड आईमा चाहिँ कलरहरू पनि डिफ्रेन्ट थियो, अलिकति पावरमा वुमेन्स पावर भनेर हामी महिलाहरूको पावर, यङ केटीहरूको पावर, त्यो हिसाबले चाहिँ मैले धेरैवटा पावरको हिसाबले चाहिँ शक्ति चाहियो क्या हामी महिलालाई, होइन. त्यही हिसाबले शक्तिको आधारमा मैले रातो कलरहरू चाहिँ हामी नेपाली कल्चर हिसाबले पनि शक्ति नै हो, टिकाहरू लाउँछौँ. त्यो कन्सेप्टमा धेरै वर्ष काम गरिसकेपछि तेस्रो नेत्र हामी महिलालाई चाहिन्छ क्या, होइन. हामी एवेर हुनुपर्छ, समाजमा हामी फाइट गर्नुपर्छ, समाजमा हामी आफ्नो हिसाबले अघि बढ्न सक्नुपर्छ भन्ने कन्सेप्टले म अघि बढेको थिएँ. मैले त्यो कन्सेप्टमा पेन्टिङ गरेँ. अनि अहिले आएर चाहिँ थर्ड आईभित्र पनि मलाई अब अझ खोजी गर्न मन लाग्यो, होइन. म भनेर चाहिँ फिल आइसकेपछि मैले म किन नराख्ने अब यसमा थर्ड आईको बिचमा भनेर. अनि देवनागरीलाई मलाई चाहिँ होइन कि अलिकति रचना लिपि, नेपाल प्रचलित लिपि, त्यसलाई चाहिँ मको रूपमा त्यति फरक त छैन, तर अलिअलि फरकको हिसाबले चाहिँ म राखेको हो.
Well, I'm very impressed. That way I'm quite familiar with the art of Irina. She's been long familiar to me as an artist. Now, since she was struggling to establish herself, I knew her. Now, she's well established now. I feel very proud on her progress. In modern version of art, what is needed to explore, continue to explore more and more. It must speak your mind. So that's what she's been doing. for a long time. Whereas others do choose different motifs and different kinds of things for their expression, visual expression, smooth their impulses. But unlike others, Irina has chosen only one particular theme, one motif for a long time. That is a woman face. Maybe she is trying to see herself in a mirror. And this is very unique. Let me tell you very frankly, this is very unique. Now I thought, how could one explore on one particular motif for a long, long time? But she did well. So what we need in art is to continually express, to explore, then and get a diversity out of it. But she did it, and she's genuinely an artist.
I feel like when I see the works, I feel like her works more says about the inner emotions and psychological world of the woman through a lot of imagery and a symbol like a third eye, and also through more about her very personal visual language. So I do see these things, and it's more about woman's resilience that I see in her works.
This transition isn't just thematic, it's a shift in energy.
If you dive deeply on her works, you'll notice the dots and the aesthetic parts of her work and the colors she plays with, along with the motifs of women. They all are very attractive. At the same time, she gives the message that women are powerful. Women have the courage, women have the strength to do whatever they need to do. And moreover, she focuses on the feminine aspect as a universe. Like if you focus on a painting, there are so many dots, right? So those each, if you stand still and look at her work for some time, you will feel those dots are the universe. And the female she paints on the canvas, it feels like women are the universe and they are the ones who creates, and without them this universe is empty.
हेर्दाखेरि लुक्स बबल तर त्यो लाइट हो के हामीले लाइटलाई परको लाइटलाई हेर्यो भने अलि ब्लड हुन्छ नि धमिलो किसिमले सार्प देखिन्न त्यो लाइटको सिम्बल चाहिँ त्यही हो अनि किन यसरी भयो भन्दाखेरि मलाई देखाउनु छ कि हामी कोही पनि सबैजनाले चाहिँ मनको दियोलाई चाहिँ बालिराख्नुपर्छ हैन मनमा नदेखिने बत्ती त देखिन्न मनको बत्ती त्यसमा धागो पनि देखिन्न तेल पनि देखिन्न त्यसैले हामीले चाहिँ के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दा मनको दियो बालिराख्नलाई हामीले तेल थपिरहनु पर्यो धागो चाहिँ थपिरहनु पर्यो सारिरहनु पर्यो भन्ने कन्सेप्टले चाहिँ अब त्यो चिजलाई कसरी देखाउने हैन त्यो कन्सेप्टले चाहिँ मैले त्यो बत्तीलाई सिम्बोलिक गरेर त्यो बत्ती भनेको मनको बत्ती हो है आँखा चिम्लिरहेछ नि हैन खोलि पनि रहेछ त्यो मनको बत्ती चाहिँ यसरी बत्ती भनेर देखाउन खोजेको मेरो कन्सेप्टमा चाहिँ अब हरेक किसिमबाट त्यो तल माथि तल हैन उठेको जस्तो बबल कलरफुल बबल जस्तो त्यो चाहिँ त्यसरी देखाउन खोजे अब ठ्याक्कै देखायो भने फेरि पेन्टिङमा टेक्निकली नमिल्न सक्छ नि त कसरी उज्यालो बनाउने भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ यो चाहिँ अलिकति फ्यान्टेसीसँग पनि कनेक्टेड गरिकन
One painting that really struck me was a painting of Mother Earth, where Irina ji has portrayed Mother Earth in a form of a Nepali lady with the elements of earth, like fish, animals, forest, but we cannot see the actual eyes or the features of human feature, but it still gives the vibe of the earthy feeling that that the painting is trying to show. So that is, I think, very interesting of Irina ji to actually give to actually portray Mother Earth in form of her own style.
एरिनाको सिलुएट्स इन टाइम भन्ने एक्जिबिसन भएको थियो सिद्धार्थ आर्ट ग्यालरीमा It was a very successful show. This face that you see in this exhibition, त्यो चाहिँ नि त्यति समयको बेला चाहिँ नि फर्स्ट टाइम इमर्ज गरेको हो र द युज अफ गोल्ड टु डिस्प्ले द रिचनेस अफ आवर हेरिटेज त्यो प्यालेट पनि त्यति बेला नि आएको हो र त्यसपछिको एक्जिबिसनले मलाई लाग्छ एरिना कोरिया जान पनि सेलेक्ट भएको थियो अहिले चाहिँ नि नयाँ प्यालेट पनि आएको छ उहाँको भेरी लाइट बिस्किट कलर जस्तैमा with very minimalistic lines कुनै चाहिँ नि तपाईले यहाँ देख्नुहुन्छ in a very linear त्यो चाहिँ नि मेरो लागि चाहिँ नि एउटा नयाँ डेभलपमेन्ट हो and I hope Arena continues with this abstract linear process जुन अहिले हामीले देखिरहेछौँ काममा त्यसको चाहिँ नि larger scale मा पनि हुन सक्छ I look forward to seeing those works too.
I think most of the thing that I praise about the exhibition here is not only this exhibition, but Erna Didi's the way she plays with the color is fabulous, and the way she brings out that inner emotions of the female, that is also tremendous. So these are the things I really get inspired by her works, and also not only about the work, but as an artist, the dedication, the sincerity, the passion, and the humility I really admired of her.
So more, you know, it's a ego, right, or id. So I think when the way we navigate the world is by measuring with our own body, with our own sense of self, right? So that sense of self, that identity is ma, right? So that's how we express I in English or ma in Nepali. But when an individual say ma, that might be in relationship to what is happening at the immediate moment. But when an artist is talking, for example, Erina's work, I think she's talking more than just the sense of herself. She might be speaking to the nature of womanhood and the women's roles in the society. So it's when I look at this work, I think I see it as a collective more, as a 50% of the population in the society, not just Erina.
This is me, this is my soul, Ma, make my spirit whole.
अहिलेको रिसेन्ट यो जुन म सिरिजमा चाहिँ नि मलाई लाग्छ इट्स अबाउट हर एउटा एक्सप्रेसन हो हैन एउटा फिमेल फर्म छ सो फिमेल क्यारेक्टर त्यसमा पनि मोर लाइक मोर फोकस अन द फेसेस हैन फिमेल फेसेसहरू छ अनि त्यसमा पनि अलिकति एउटा एग्रेसिभ फिलिङ्सहरू छ यसपालि चाहिँ नि सो एग्रेसिभ इन अ सेन्स लाइक अहिलेको जुन अहिले समाजमा जुन घटिरहेको घटनाहरू छ त्यसैलाई अलिकति बेस लिएर चाहिँ नि एरिनाले काम गरेको छ यसपालि चाहिँ नि सो स्पेसली अब भन्नुपर्दा म सिरिज इज बेस्ड अन हर ओन एक्सप्रेसन ओन लाइक आइडेन्टिटी होइन त्यसमा बेस भएर काम गरिरहेछ सो सी हेज एक्सप्लोर कलरमा पनि अलिकति डार्कनेस अफ कलर चाहिँ युज गर्नुभएको छ यो म सिरिजमा सो प्रायः चाहिँ नि कलर्सहरू चाहिँ नि ग्रे ब्ल्याक त्यसमा पनि फेरि गोल्डन कलर चाहिँ मिक्स गर्नुभएको छ द्याट्स अ भेरी स्ट्रङ कलर चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ
As everybody knows, running a gallery is a very complex and financially challenging thing to do. But still, like my history, my family history, we've always been into art. For like now, regarding my own business, it's been running for more than 40 to 50 years and still running. So this is a small diversification from being an art shop and then to an art gallery. So it's two different streams, but the objective is still one: promoting Nepalese art. it's still a challenge that we to get proper quality buyers, especially in the Nepalese market. And it's a very niche market in Nepal. We've got very handful people who actually are investing in art. So yeah, that's one of the major problems, because that's a problem for the lack of buyers that we have in Nepal. Giving artists the space that they require to show their artwork. And it's not just one specific artwork that we are promoting. So here in 108, we give a platform to all the different art and artists. So this is a major step that we as a gallery are taking. And we're also trying to promote artist merchandise, where the buyer can actually have the essence of the original artwork, but in a cheaper form, whether it be prints. Like we've tried a couple of things like making puzzles out of the original artwork, where we pay good royalty to the artist. And then gallery, we've got our certain commission, and then the buyer also gets a genuine piece in return.
The only thing that will help to sustain one in this creative field of the creative world is continuation. You have to do continuously. You shouldn't be stopping, right? To take rest is okay, but completely shut down is not okay. So that's the key point: continuation, the passion for it, and no matter what there is, we all are struggling in our own ways. And if you are a woman, then you have to struggle twice, right? So continuation is the key for sustaining in this creative scenario. Yeah.
Any creative field is very demanding, and a lot of time the investment in return is not immediate. So that's something I think both the parents and students or a young generation would have to think about. And they have to have a plan to support their creative practice until the creative practice can support them. And then look for opportunities not just in Nepal and also outside. Build network, be professional. When they commit to something, they should commit to that and show up, right? So I think the being professional and understanding and having a plan, not just one plan, but the plan one, plan A, plan B, plan C, would be helpful for them. But I think there are a lot more opportunity nowadays, and I wouldn't necessarily be pessimistic about it. But they have to be clear about what their goals are.
But this me is also a response to the external world.
Your contemporary समकालीन work is like this, हैन? किनभने हामीले एउटा बनाउँछौँ, तपाईले अर्कै फिल गर्नुहुन्छ, अर्को व्यक्तिले अर्कै गर्नुहुन्छ। जसले हेर्नुहुन्छ उहाँहरूले आफ्नै किसिमले मनन गर्न पाउनु यो नै विशेष हो, स्पेसियालिटी भन्छ नि। हामी सबैले आफूलाई राम्रोसँग आफूभित्र मभित्रको मलाई एकचोटि मनन गरिकन राम्रोसित आफूलाई चिन्नु भयो भने, चिन्न पायो भने मेरै पेन्टिङको मेरै मबाट तपाईले पनि आफूलाई खोज्न देख्नुभयो भने मेरो त्यसमा चाहिँ तपाईले सोच्नुभयो भने मैले बनाएको मसँग कनेक्ट हुनुभयो जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ, कनेक्ट हुनुहुन्छ कि जस्तो नि मलाई लाग्छ। र आफूलाई राम्रोसँग सजिलो किसिमबाट अघि बढ्न सक्छ जिन्दगीमा भन्ने जस्तो लाग्छ। त्यही खोज्नुहोस् भन्न चाहन्छु।
This was Irina Tamrakar's More Myself. We hope you were near to finding that more in you from today's episode of Creative Forum.
The golden light that starts to glow, the quiet peace that helps you grow. This power comes from deep inside, a rising, never-ending tide. This is me, this is my soul. Ma, make my spirit whole.
Dai Lake in Karnali province is a geographically remote district, yet rich with untapped potential for tourism. Stepping into Dai Lake, celebrated as a treasure trove of Khas art, culture and heritage, brings a unique sense of joy. Journey begins amid its natural beauty, leading us toward Mahabu Rural Municipality. As we leave the mid-hill highway, the terrain becomes challenging, with hilly, muddy roads demanding patience and skill. Long lines of vehicles crawl carefully along the cliffs, reflecting both the difficulty of the route and the enduring devotion of Mahabu Dham. Many travelers choose to continue on foot, advancing step by step toward their destination. Passing through Channa, Dasarathi, Okharbans, Bhavsaini, Noli and Unipata, pilgrims ascend the slopes toward Lisne before finally reaching Mahabu Patan. Pilgrims from Dai Lake and nearby districts often arrive late at night, having begun their journey the previous day. The path to Mahabu Dham is thrilling, adventurous and breathtaking, made even more dramatic by the steady rain, drifting fog and steep inclines. Yet the journey itself feels uniquely rewarding. Mahabu Lake or Mahabu Dham, located within Mahabu Rural Municipality, is a remarkable place of natural beauty, religious significance and cultural heritage. Situated at an altitude of 4,200 meters, the area is adorned with emerald lakes, grazing flocks of sheep and goats, and a sky that dances with Himalayan mist. Every year, during Janai Purnima, a grand fair is held here, drawing thousands of devotees from across the region. Mahabu Dham's spiritual importance is deeply rooted in the ancient worship of Lord Shiva, revered here as the origin site. From Mahabu Lake, visitors can enjoy magnificent views of Api and Sai Palhimal, and on clear days, even the plains of Bardia. Given its religious importance and natural splendor, Mahabu Dham holds immense potential as a religious tourism destination. Improving the rough, narrow access roads is essential for supporting this growth. Mahabu Dham is more than a pilgrimage site. It is a confluence of culture, history, faith, and nature. To truly appreciate its significance, one must visit Mahabu Lake at least once, immerse oneself in its natural beauty, and experience the serene environment that leaves a lasting impression.
प्राकृतिक, धार्मिक तथा सांस्कृतिक रूपमा धनी शैलुङमा तपाईलाई हार्दिक स्वागत छ। यहाँको भौगोलिक इतिहास निकै आश्चर्य लाग्दो छ। प्रथम बुद्ध साङ्गेले स्वर्गबाट झरेर प्रवचन दिनुभएकाले पहिले यस ठाउँलाई साङ्गेलुङ भनिन्थ्यो। पछि अपभ्रंश भएर शैलुङ भनिएको हो। यस ठाउँमा पाँचौं बुद्ध पद्मसम्भवाएर लामो समय तपस्या गर्नुभएको किम्वदन्ती छ। हिन्दू धर्मको कहावत अनुसार पहिला ऋषि मुनिहरू यहाँ आएर तपस्या गर्थे। कलियुग सुरु भएपछि पाप देख्न नपरोस् भनेर प्रत्येक ठाउँमा ऋषिमुनि अलग भए र यी ठाउँमा थुम्का निस्किए। तपाई हामी अहिले यस्ता 108 वटा भन्दा बढी अवलोकन गर्न सक्छौं। यदि तपाईँ यी थुम्कामा पुग्नुभयो भने त्यहाँबाट नेपालका 60% हिम श्रृङ्खला हेरेर आनन्द लिन सक्नुहुन्छ। महालङ्गुर, रोलबालिङ, अन्नपूर्ण हिम श्रृङ्खलाहरू तपाईलाई हेरेर चम्किनेछन्। सैलुङले सिजन नै पछि आफ्नो रूप फेर्छ। तपाईँ हिउँदमा आउनुभयो भने हिउँसित खेल्न सक्नुहुन्छ। चैत वैशाखमा आउनुभयो भने गुराँससित मितेरी लगाउन सक्नुहुन्छ। सैलुङमा तपाईँ 100 भन्दा बढी जडीबुटीको अध्ययन गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। चौरी डुलाउने प्रचलित ठाउँ पनि हो यो। यदि तपाईँ साबाखर्क भन्ने ठाउँमा बिहान पुग्नु भयो भने अवश्य चौरी गाई देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ। चौरी गोठमा पोसिलो चौरीको दुध पिउँदाको आनन्द अनि यहाँको छुर्पी तपाईँ अवश्य बिर्सनुहुन्न। लेकाली भेग भएकाले यहाँको अन्नबालीमा पनि विविधता देख्न सकिन्छ। 6 महिना लगाएर फल्ने यहाँका आलु मुडे लगिन्छ। यहाँबाट प्रचलित मुडेको आलु तपाईँ कहाँ आइपुग्छ। सैलुङको सांस्कृतिक विविधता पनि तपाईलाई रोचक लाग्ला। यहाँ बहुजातीय समाज छ। तामाङ, मगर, गुरुङ, छेत्री, बाहुन, थामी, नेवार आदिको मिश्रित समाजमा तपाईले मानिसहरू मिलेर गाउँ विकास गरेको देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ। अझै तपाईलाई साहसिक खेल मन पर्छ भने यहाँका गुफाहरूले तपाईलाई पर्खिरहेका छन्। यस्तो रोमाञ्चक ठाउँ काठमाडौँबाट 120 किलोमिटर दूरीमा मात्र छ। तपाईँ काठमाडौँबाट धुरीखेल, दोलालघाट, खाडी चौर, मुडे हुँदै दोलखाको यो रमणीय स्थल पुग्न सक्नुहुन्छ। खान बस्नका लागि यहाँका आधुनिक होटलहरू र हिँड्न डुल्नका लागि बनाइएका फराकिलो बाटोले तपाईलाई पर्खिरहेका छन्। सैलुङमा तपाईलाई फेरि पनि स्वागत छ।
मुन्डीमा नाना बाइसी रोगामी, मुन्डीमा नाना बाइसी रोगामी।
As global geopolitics continues to evolve, regional institutions are being asked to do more than fostering dialogue. They are increasingly expected to deliver stability, connectivity, and shared prosperity. Against this backdrop, the Bay of Bengal is re-emerging as one of Asia's most strategically significant regions, placing renewed focus on regional cooperation. Welcome to Geopod. I am Shivani Thapa-Bosnet. At the heart of that conversation is BIMSTEC, a regional organization bringing together 7 countries across South and Southeast Asia, representing nearly 1.8 billion people and an economy approaching some $5 trillion. Joining us today is its Secretary General, a distinguished diplomat whose career has spanned more than 3 decades across some of the world's most consequential diplomatic capitals, His Excellency Indramani Pandey. Your Excellency, welcome to Geopod.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to Geopod.
Your Excellency, your visit to Kathmandu comes particularly at a very interesting moment to Nepal and the wider region. So, what makes this visit significant from BIMSTEC's perspective?
The purpose of this visit was to have an opportunity to meet with Honorable Foreign Minister and also Honorable Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, the sectors in which Nepal leads. And basically, I was looking for an opportunity to brief the new leadership of Nepal about what is BIMSTEC's agenda, the areas where we are cooperating, the progress that we have made, and seek their guidance, seek their support for future work.
What did you grasp from these engagements?
I'm very encouraged by a very, very positive response from both the ministers whom I called on. They expressed the firm commitment of the government of Nepal to continue to work together with other member states of BIMSTEC for strengthening this organization, for expanding cooperation under BIMSTEC. And there was assurance by the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs himself that Ministry of Foreign Affairs will continue to render its full support to make BIMSTEC a successful regional organization. Similarly, Honorable Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation expressed support for the initiatives that our member states have been taking to strengthening cooperation in these very important areas. He underlined actually the importance of relations among the people, particularly engaging our youth, engaging student communities, engaging academic communities, and we discussed some of the ways in which we can strengthen cooperation in these areas. So my courtesy calls on both honorable ministers was very useful. Similarly, I had a very comprehensive discussion with Honorable Foreign Secretary of Nepal, where we went over the comprehensive agenda of BIMSTEC, and we decided the next steps that will be taken under BIMSTEC and where Nepal would be playing a very significant role.
How intensively, Your Excellency, was the role of Nepal within the BIMSTEC? How intensively was this discussed during this meeting?
The discussion focused on the importance of regional cooperation. In fact, the growing importance of regional cooperation in the current geopolitical context, and there was firm affirmation of the importance that Nepal continues to attach to BIMSTEC. It was underlined that Nepal has always believed in multilateral diplomacy, both at the global level and at the regional level. And if we look at the key role that Nepal has been playing, it has always been very proactive globally and regionally in contributing to this platform. So for Nepal has been member of BIMSTEC for past 22 years, and I would like to underline that in these 22 years it has not only continued to support BIMSTEC, but has played a very important role.
Let's step back from the immediate purpose of your visit and take a quick look at the bigger picture. Now, diplomats are defining the current scenario as an inflection point for international relations. The assumptions, shaped largely post the Cold War era from globalization to multilateralism are being increasingly questioned. So, Your Excellency, how do you assess this international order vis-a-vis the geopolitical and economic dynamics?
Where the fundamental changes to the rules-based international order, there are questions about continued relevance of that order. There are concerns about how this situation will evolve in future, what kind of geopolitical environment will face in future. So there are huge uncertainties and also unpredictabilities. So at this stage we find ourselves in a position where we cannot even predict how the situation is going to evolve. So it's a period where countries, while working multilaterally and bilaterally, are certainly concerned about how this order will shape in future and what kind of situation they will encounter. So even this kind of environment, that's what I have been trying to underline, that regional cooperation becomes even more important than ever.
What in your view, Your Excellency, do you think is the single biggest force reshaping this international relations today? Is it climate, technology? What is it?
I think some of the geopolitical developments, together with the abiding challenges that we are facing due to climate change, also technologies that are reshaping the way we interact, the way we do business, the way our societies have been interacting. So, for example, artificial intelligence together with digital technologies. So these transformations are taking place at the same time when international order is under stress. So countries find themselves in a situation where they find that not only geopolitics, geoeconomics, geostrategic environment, their ability to engage in external trade, everything is under stress. So these are very complex challenges, and all these challenges interact with one another and make sometimes even more complex.
How do you think regional institutions remain effective and at the same time relevant in an increasingly complex geopolitical environment?
One of the characters of this increasingly complex geostrategic environment is that it's not easy to build consensus. So that's why multilateral institutions at the global level are facing challenges on how to build consensus, how to build convergences, find ways to cooperate. But when we look at a group of countries in a specific region, then they have opportunity to work together, because it's easier to build consensus, find convergences when you have a small number of players in the room. For example, under BIMSTEC we have 7 countries. So when 7 countries are meeting together, it's much easier to find convergences and build consensus than when you have more than 195, 96 countries meeting together. So that is why regional cooperation has become more relevant. Also, if I could underline, some of the challenges which we are facing now related to energy security, food security, disruptions in supply chain, we can find answers regionally working together. So that's why I believe cooperation under BIMSTEC becomes even more relevant today than it ever was.
Around the world, institutions like the United Nations and the WTO are facing increasing pressure, while regional groupings are becoming more active. Now, do you see regional organizations complementing multilateralism or gradually filling the spaces where the global institutions are struggling?
I see them as complementary because there is a lot of space for multilateral global institutions to continue to contribute within the limitations that they are facing, within the challenges that they are facing. And at the same time, there is a role for regional organization too. So regional organization in many areas can complement the role played by global institutions. For example, the World Health Organization plays a leading role in the health sector. But acting regionally, countries in a region can deal with some of the challenges in health sector which are regional in nature. So I see the role complementary rather than competing for space. In fact, even there is a scope for bilateral diplomacy. So I see bilateral diplomacy, regional diplomacy and multilateral leading to the same goal of countries working closely to deal with the shared challenges.
Is political trust ultimately more important than institutional design?
Institutions are designed to build political trust. So the success of the institutions that we create depends on political trust to a lot extent. And if member states agree together to build an institutions like BIMSTEC, they agree to work together under BIMSTEC, it in itself demonstrates that there is a trust among the member states that working together they will benefit in those specific areas that will actually contribute to their national initiatives, because countries on their own deal with their own security and developmental challenges. But they also believe that working together at times it will contribute to their own national initiatives. So that is where role for multilateral institutions and role for regional institutions comes into play.
How do you view the growing strategic importance or significance of the Bay of Bengal region?
It has always been a very important region, the region which has always been connected. It is believed that Bay of Bengal actually connected different parts of Asia. Our civilizational exchanges, cultural exchanges in the past. If we see the trade that took place between different parts of Asia through Bay of Bengal. So Bay of Bengal has always been a very important maritime space for people-to-people exchanges, for trade, for travel, for tourism. And what we are trying to do through BIMSTEC is to re-energize those linkages, reimagine them, and in the contemporary context try to build the very same relationships that always existed among the nations. So we are not trying to do anything new. In fact, we are just reimagining what we used to do in the past with one another and finding ways to re-establish the very same linkages.
There's also the other thing called Indo-Pacific. So how does one understand Indo-Pacific and the Bay of Bengal region?
The Bay of Bengal is a very significant part of Indian Ocean, and when seen together with Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, its importance grows even more. If we look at the trade through Asia, from one part of Asia to another part of Asia, going westward from east, the Bay of Bengal plays very important role. Similarly, from west to east, the trade flows through the waters of Bay of Bengal. So it remains a very important bay, both from the developmental perspective and from the security perspective.
Your Excellency, regional organizations are increasingly judged by outcomes and not just by aspirations. How is BIMSTEC translating regional cooperation into tangible benefits for the member states?
I fully agree with you that BIMSTEC, like any other organization, should be judged through the tangible outcomes that we can achieve through our different cooperation mechanisms. I have been interacting with think tanks, with academia, with media, and this has been the usual perspective that the cooperation should be intended to provide tangible benefits to the people. And that's why under BIMSTEC we are actually focused on engaging in tangible cooperation in different sectors. We have agreed action plans in different areas of cooperation. Our focus is on implementing those action plans, working together with our member states, but also with our external partners, so that we can leverage their capacities, their programs for the benefit of our member states. And again, if we look at the evolution of BIMSTEC in 1997, it was conceived actually as a platform where countries from South Asia and Southeast Asia could engage in tangible cooperation. If you look at our name, it says multi-sectoral, technical and economic cooperation. So the emphasis is always on engaging in cooperation. It's a non-political organization, and our member states are committed to keep it as a non-political organization, keeping the political issues away from our agenda. If we look at our agenda, it's very comprehensive. It's development focused. We cover most of the sustainable development goals agreed by the United Nations, and our member states want to expand cooperation to cover all the sustainable development goals. So we are very development focused. We are very focused on implementation of our plans of action, our master plans, and we are committed to delivering tangible benefits to people of our nations. As you mentioned, together we are home to about 1.8 billion people. Now, if the BIMSTEC is successful, even partly in addressing some of the challenges that our people face, we would have made a significant contribution to their welfare, and that remains the abiding goal of BIMSTEC.
Connectivity, we all know, has traditionally meant roads, or all sorts of ports, railways, and so on. But today, increasingly, it is including digital infrastructure, energy grids, and even financial systems and resilient supply chains, right? Has the meaning of connectivity changed?
It has expanded because traditional means of connectivity remain important. So land connectivity remains important, as also does maritime connectivity, air connectivity. But as you mentioned, we have also looked at expanding the scope of connectivity to include digital connectivity, and there is a proposal to for our member states to work together in enhancing their digital public infrastructure. We are also looking at capacity building in some new areas of technology like artificial intelligence, so that our member states, wherever there are gaps, can address those gaps and work together. There is again a proposal on the agenda to look at how do we connect the payment systems of our member states. How do we work together to make the trade among our member states in their own currencies possible? And we have recently set up a new working group on fiscal and monetary policy. And one of the items on its agenda is to look at actually how to strengthen financial relations among our member states. And I'm happy to inform your audience that this group will be meeting next month in Colombo, the very first meeting of this group, and will be looking at its comprehensive agenda. So we would like to enhance our connectivity in every dimension. Last year we signed an agreement on maritime transport cooperation, which was also signed by Nepal and Bhutan, two of our land-linked members, out of their belief that more maritime connectivity would also benefit them. We are in the process of negotiating a motor vehicle agreement to enhance land connectivity. Our master plan on transport connectivity is being implemented by our member states. So we are working in different aspects of connectivity together, so that as you underlined, we deal with connectivity in all its dimensions, and connectivity will be the bedrock for future cooperation in all of the other areas.
You made a mention of the financial systems and especially the buying each other's goods in their own currency. This draws a little attention, Your Excellency. Could you walk us through this? What is on the table at the moment, and how much of importance will this fetch during your Colombo meet?
So this is on the agenda of our experts who would be meeting for the first time actually. So they will have an opportunity to hold discussions on this very important agenda item, and then we are looking forward to some concrete outcomes of their deliberations, because when our member state meet, then they look at what they are doing nationally, then they try to identify what they can do collectively at the regional level. So when they are meeting next month in Colombo, I'm sure they would look at all the dimensions of these very important areas of cooperation, and we are looking forward to the outcome of the meeting.
Talking about artificial intelligence, like any other sector, Your Excellency, it is also reshaping diplomacy, like from negotiations to cybersecurity to public diplomacy and even conflict, right? Just a little curious thought, is diplomacy ready for the AI age, or has it been, has it adapted quickly enough to the AI age?
Actually, diplomacy is very important in order to shape the global environment in which the AI would evolve, because we are all aware of the likely implications of some of the ways in which artificial intelligence is developing. I think there is a collective responsibility of the UN member states, both acting globally and regionally, to ensure that this evolution in artificial intelligence remains firmly anchored in the welfare of the people. It serves the interest of the people. So that is why in BIMSTEC context too, we have made a small beginning by working together with ITU, International Telecommunications Union, on engaging in capacity building about AI, so that the challenges that we are going to face in AI domain will become evident for all our member states, and then we can explore the avenues for cooperation. So the second BIMSTEC Digital Conclave, which will be held this year, is going to look at more closely on opportunities for cooperation in AI, and some of our member states have taken lead in looking at the frameworks that should govern artificial intelligence, the way it should evolve and the way it should serve the interest of people, it should serve the interest of humanity. So for us, there is an opportunity to work together at the regional level.
Security today extends certainly beyond military threats, right? So how do you think should regional organizations redefine security in the new environment?
Actually, in BIMSTEC context, we have looked at different dimensions of security of our member states. Those threats to their security which are transnational in nature, where our member states feel that by working together they can benefit. For example, under the joint working group which deals with counter-terrorism and transnational crime, we have 5 different subgroups dealing with threats like cyber security, human trafficking, They're looking at financing of terrorism and money laundering. They're looking at how to deal with the phenomena of radicalization, which then contributes to terrorism, and also a separate subgroup which has been busy with negotiating conventions. So we have under BIMSTEC a convention on counterterrorism and organized crime, which covers also drug trafficking. We have a convention already signed by our member states dealing with mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. And there are 3 more conventions where the draft texts are being negotiated by our member states, dealing with human trafficking, extradition, and transfer of convicted persons. So we are trying to create both the legal environment in which our member states can cooperate. We have developed action plans in all these areas for our member states to work together. And at the recent meeting of our national security advisors, there was a comprehensive discussion about all the contemporary challenges to security which our member states feel. And then they talked about how we can work together in dealing with some of the emerging challenges to the security. So, in a couple of months, we'll have the first meeting of the BIMSTEC Home Ministers, who will be looking at security challenges faced by our member states in a very comprehensive manner, trying to identify the way forward for the future cooperation. So, we have not looked at security in its very narrow dimension. For example, under National Security Advisors mechanism, they have paid a lot of attention to maritime security and some other challenges which are there in the maritime domain, including things like maritime ecological environment, how we work together. So, we have very specific frameworks for cooperation already agreed together with by our member states, and we continue to deliberate and discuss on how to move forward in future.
This brings me to a context, a recent national context here in Nepal, Your Excellency, that one of the authorities made a mention, or rather a concern on national security, citing the increasing influx of asylum seekers from the region here in Nepal. How does BIMSTEC look at this transfer?
Under BIMSTEC, we have so far looked at the phenomena of what we call human trafficking, which our member states feel that it poses a challenge in its different dimensions, and that's why there was a subgroup under the joint working group which was focused on human trafficking, and we have an agreed action plan to deal with that issue. We are in the process of finalizing the text of even a convention on dealing with various aspects of human trafficking. So it has been very much on the agenda, and we are even looking at opportunity to work together with our partner UN Organization for Drugs and Crime to deal with some of the transnational aspects of security challenges. So again, our member states, when they meet, they discuss together the challenges that they feel. There will be challenges that our member states deal with at the national level, and then there are challenges where they think they can work together and they will benefit from regional cooperation in those areas.
As the region fetches a lot of strategic vantage and importance at the moment, Your Excellency, and especially in an era of fragmented supply chains and economic uncertainty that we are currently experiencing, where do you see the Bay of Bengal region creating its greatest strategic advantage?
I think our advantage is that we already have very strong relationship among our member states. We have our foundational civilizational links, we have shared historical experiences, There is a huge cultural connect. And we have a tradition of working together. So it's not something new for member states in Bay of Bengal region to work together with one another. They have been doing so for long. So in the changed geostrategic environment, I think there is a case for our member states to continue to work together, expand their cooperation. And in that process, they will be able to deal with some of the serious developmental challenges they face, or even security challenges of transnational nature they face.
How do you view Nepal's evolving role within BIMSTEC?
Nepal has been a member of BIMSTEC for past 22 years. So the decision of Nepal to join BIMSTEC in itself signified that it felt that BIMSTEC provided Nepal another opportunity to engage in cooperation with other like-minded countries. Also, BIMSTEC was conceived as an organization where countries from South Asia and Southeast Asia could work together, which would open up new opportunities for both countries from South Asia and from Southeast Asia. So that is where Nepal is very well placed to work with other member states under BIMSTEC to realize its developmental aspirations, developmental goals, and that's what it has been doing. Under BIMSTEC, we work on the basis of consensus. So our agenda has evolved with consensus of all the member states. All our mechanisms work under the same basis, that all the decisions that we take are taken together by all the member states. So member states are very comfortable under BIMSTEC to work together because they know that its agenda has evolved with their concurrence, and success under BIMSTEC will contribute to their goals for development, for security, for prosperity of people, for peace in the region. And let me again underline that Nepal has not only contributed to cooperation in the areas that it leads, it has continued to host meetings in other sectors too. So it had hosted meeting of, for example, last year, ministers for agriculture, even though agriculture sector is led by Myanmar. Similarly, it has hosted meetings in some other areas too, which fall under the leadership of other countries. So under BIMSTEC, there is a lot of bonhomie among our member states. They all come forward to contribute to the process, and they work with this assurance that whatever successes we'll achieve, it will benefit all of them. So neither agenda is driven by a particular member state or a particular set of member states, nor the outcome. The agenda, the process, the outcome, everything is consensus based. All the member states play equally important role, and Nepal has been a very valued member of BIMSTEC, and I'm quite confident that in future too it will remain a very valued member and would make significant contributions to BIMSTEC process.
Nepal often speaks of acting as a bridge, right? But bridges only matter when people and commerce actually cross them. What practical choices should you think Nepal make over the next decade if it wishes to become indispensable within the Bay of Bengal region?
It is an indispensable part of the Bay of Bengal region. So this is my belief that Nepal's role remains indispensable to the welfare of all the countries in the region. And that's why Nepal was welcomed as a member in 2004 with open arms by the 5 countries which were members of BIMSTEC at that time, both Nepal and Bhutan being the land-linked countries. They joined BIMSTEC because they felt that BIMSTEC will subserve their interests. So that's why Nepal continues to play that role, whether you describe it as a bridge or whether you describe it as a link. But I believe that every country has a very unique role to play in the process, and Nepal also has a very unique role to play in BIMSTEC process. Other member states appreciate the very significant role played by Nepal in BIMSTEC, and they value actually the contribution that Nepal makes to it.
Which opportunities do you feel is underutilized?
I feel that BIMSTEC could have made more progress in different areas of cooperation that we have conceived. Since the Secretariat was established in 2014, we have certainly been able to make progress in many of these areas. But I believe in both in connectivity and in enhancing intra-BIMSTEC trade and investment, we need to make more progress, because that will provide what we call the bedrock for future cooperation in many other sectors. But let me assure you that all the sectors of cooperation under BIMSTEC are very important, and our member states believe that they are equally important. So that's why there is no endeavor to prioritize any specific sector. Instead, our member states believe that let's make progress in all the sectors.
Today, economic security is national security. Supply chains, critical minerals, food, energy, digital infrastructure, right? Where should countries like Nepal focus if they are to remain economically resilient?
I would like to begin by stressing that not only in case of Nepal, in case of all the BIMSTEC member states, we have a very young population, a very aspirational population. We have the responsibility to make sure that the benefits of the development reach people. So we have to fulfill their aspirations. All our member states are trying to do their best nationally to achieve that goal. And that is where I believe regional cooperation can play an important role by contributing to the national efforts. Again, it's not a substitute for national effort, it complements national efforts. So, in all the sustainable development goals which were agreed globally in 2015 that we need to realize by 2030, I think our member states have lagged behind in realizing all those goals. And there are opportunities to make progress. There have been certainly setbacks in realizing those goals. And I believe by working together, they can better realize those goals than acting alone. So that is where the importance of BIMSTEC comes, that cooperation under BIMSTEC will contribute to national initiatives, national efforts to realize the sustainable development goals for the people of our region. So not only people of Nepal, people of all our member states would like to see the benefits of development. They would like to become more prosperous. They would like to have more opportunities for their development. And we have that responsibility to translate our vision into reality, into tangible cooperation. So that's why rather than identifying a set of goals as more important than others, we need to focus on realizing tangible cooperation in all the areas that we have collectively agreed to work together.
The question certainly is, how do we make that happen, right? What are your priorities for BIMSTEC in the coming years?
So I'm glad you mentioned BIMSTEC priorities, because the Secretariat's priorities are fully aligned with the member states' priorities. We are there to facilitate cooperation among our member states, to anchor the initiatives that our member states take. And we always focus on implementation by working very closely with all our member states on where are the areas where we need to make swift progress. And that brings me back to the purpose of my visit, which was actually to discuss with the leadership of Nepal on where we are in terms of BIMSTEC cooperation, what we need to do for future. So I would like to underline that for all our member states at this stage, their priority is to reform and revitalize BIMSTEC and continue to work together to translate all the declarations that we have, all the action plans that we have into tangible cooperation, which should directly or indirectly benefit our people.
Drawing on your extensive diplomatic career, what lessons do you believe, Your Excellency, are the most relevant in navigating today's international environment?
I think the best compass would be to stay focused on how we define our national interests and look for opportunities, because when you have one door closing, there will be other doors which would be opening. So countries working individually or collectively should keep looking for opportunities, keep their options open, so that whenever they see an opportunity, they should be able to avail those opportunities for their own benefit. So to remain focused on how do we define our national interest, as some countries have said, like India first or Nepal first or Bangladesh first approach. I think that's the ideal approach, where countries prioritize their own national interest but look for all the doors which are open to subserve those interests. So instead of going by certain ideologies or certain beliefs, the approach should be more pragmatic, more practical, more realistic, so that in spite of all the challenges, we are able to spot the opportunities for cooperation and then work together. So that's what I feel as a diplomat, that we all should stay focused on what the priorities of our countries are.
And towards the end, if I may ask a slightly reflective question, Your Excellency. 20 years from now, when another Secretary General sits where you are today, what do you hope fundamentally changed in the Bay of Bengal region because BIMSTEC existed?
I would certainly like to see, not 20 years later, say 5 years later, 10 years later, that first we are better connected, whether it's, as you mentioned, connectivity through land routes, through maritime routes, through air routes, digital connectivity, trade connectivity. We should be able to trade more, so we should have a higher share of our external trade among our BIMSTEC member states. So intra-BIMSTEC trade and investment should certainly go up. I would like to see more people-to-people exchanges to evolve. At present, we have taken initiatives in domain of culture, tourism, beginning of youth exchanges and sports. But I would like to see more such initiatives, more activities together, more cultural exchanges under BIMSTEC banner, more student exchanges, and then exchanges among our different segments of the society, our authors, our film producers, our musicians. So we should be able to do more under people-to-people exchanges. These are the areas where Nepal leads cooperation. It has a special responsibility to identify ways in which we can be more connected at people-to-people level. So if we can have more connectivity, we trade more, we travel more, we are more connected at the people-to-people level, I'll be a very happy person.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for coming over and sharing your very, very valued insights and perspectives.
I'm so glad you gave me this opportunity to speak about BIMSTEC and to talk about Nepal's role in BIMSTEC process, the contribution that it has made, the expectations of the organization from Nepal in future. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you indeed. The questions facing our region are evolving. So too must the conversations that shape its future. Thank you for joining us on Geopod this week. I'm Shivani Thapa-Bosnet. Until next time, goodbye.
Kathmandu has long been known as a place where natural beauty, history, culture, and spirituality come together in remarkable harmony. Rising above the western side of the valley stands Swayambhunath, one of Nepal's most revered and ancient sites. Many simply call it Swayambhu. For countless generations, it has been a sanctuary of spiritual devotion, a place where the first light of morning touches the prayer flags, and where monks and devotees begin their day in meditation and worship. Swayambhu is cherished by Buddhists from all over the world, yet it holds equal significance for many Hindus. This shared reverence creates a rare sense of unity within its sacred grounds. The origins of Swayambhunath stretch back at least 2.5 millennia. Inscriptions and centuries-old statues found throughout the site testify to its long-standing presence and its profound cultural importance. The stupa itself is one of Nepal's traditional religious landmarks, crowned by the serene eyes of the Buddha that gaze out across all 4 directions. These eyes are regarded as a message of compassion, awareness, and peace for all beings. For Buddhists, the stupa and its symbols become a guide toward understanding the teachings of the Buddha. For Hindu visitors, the temples and images of deities within the complex hold deep spiritual meaning of their own. In 1989, Swayambhunath was formally recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, an honor that elevated Nepal's cultural identity on the global stage and helped protect this extraordinary place for future generations. The surroundings of Swayambhu offer many places of interest. Pilgrims and travelers often find themselves captivated by the calm atmosphere and the panoramic views over Kathmandu Valley. The architecture of the complex reflects a graceful blend of Nepali and Tibetan influences. The stupa follows ancient Nepali design traditions, while the monasteries and retreat houses that surround it reflect elements of Tibetan craftsmanship. These two styles together give Swayambhunath a distinctive character found nowhere else. Preserving Swayambhu is not only a religious responsibility, it is an effort guided equally by historical and cultural commitment. The temples, statues, and inscriptions within the complex carry stories that span centuries. The main stupa, crowned by the four compassionate eyes, remains the heart of the site. Monks gather each day to meditate and study. Within these halls, elaborate paintings and sacred sculptures portray episodes from the life of the Buddha and remind visitors of the spiritual traditions that continue to flourish here. The entrance to Swayambhunath features a gate designed to convey purity and reverence. Sculptures and painted figures on the gate reveal the guiding ideals of Buddhist philosophy. Scattered around the grounds are ancient inscriptions that preserve the history of the land. Statues of various Buddhas stand alongside images of Parvati and Shiva, creating a space where cultural diversity and shared devotion coexist with harmony. Swayambhunath is one of Nepal's most visited destinations. Its landscapes, spiritual gravity, and cultural richness draw people from around the world. Each year, millions of visitors, both local and international, climb the steps leading toward the stupa. Their presence contributes greatly to Nepal's tourism economy and to the livelihoods of those who live and work nearby. Quake of 2015 brought significant destruction to Swayambhunath. Several structures collapsed and many priceless sculptures were damaged. The impact on the site's cultural heritage was deeply felt throughout the country. Yet, The response to this tragedy revealed the strength of the community. Local residents, government agencies, cultural experts, monks, and international organizations came together to restore the complex. The rebuilding process became more than a physical reconstruction. It became a spiritual effort guided by devotion and the hope of preserving peace and compassion for future generations. Today, visitors find improved pathways, restored shrines, and safe spaces from which to explore the site. Nearby, guest houses and small hotels offer comfortable places to stay for those who wish to spend more time experiencing the surroundings. For many, Swayambhu is not only a religious landmark but a symbol of introspection and inner calm. The peaceful environment encourages reflection. The sacred presence of the stupa gives visitors a sense of quiet strength. The eyes of the Buddha seem to guide those who come seeking balance, clarity, or a moment of stillness. As the sun rises, its light glimmers on the golden pinnacle of the stupa. And as the night falls, the view of Kathmandu from this hilltop feels almost otherworldly, as though the city below is touched by a gentle glow. Swayambhunath continues to stand as a reminder of the spiritual harmony that has shaped Nepal for centuries. It invites every visitor to pause, to breathe, and to discover a deeper part of themselves.
Welcome to the Hinterlands on NTV World. This weekly show brings together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal, takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's rural landscapes. I am Rosina Rai. We begin in Bardia district, where Nepal's globally acclaimed tiger conservation story is entering a new phase. Although the country has recorded a historic 420 wild tigers, the latest census shows Bardia's tiger population has declined from 125 in 2022 to 112. At the same time, growing human-wildlife conflict is emerging as of one of the biggest conservation challenges. A report. Bardia National Park in Nepal has witnessed a remarkable recovery in its tiger population over the past 2 decades. This growth stems from strong habitat protection, anti-poaching units, and local community partnerships. However, the conservation success has also brought growing challenges of human-tiger conflict. In 2009, the park was home to just 18 tigers. The population increased to 87 in 2018 and reached 125 in 2022. According to the latest tiger census conducted in 2026, the number has declined to 112. As the tiger population has grown, incidents of human-tiger conflict have also increased. Data from Bardia National Park and the Division Forest Office show 41 people have been killed in tiger attacks in Bardia district since 1993. In response to the rising number of encounters, authorities have implemented various conflict management measures. 5 tigers have been captured and relocated to rescue centers, while several others have been safely released back into their natural habitats.
भनेर चाहिँ हामीले जनचेतना दिन सक्यौं भने मानव बाघको द्वन्द्व चाहिँ घटाउन सकिन्छ। कुनै बाघ चाहिँ मानव वन्यमा छिरो समस्या कस्तो नै हुन्छ तिनीहरु ती छिर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले त्यसलाई पहिचान गरेर यदि चाहिँ समस्या कस्तो नै हो भने चाहिँ सुरुमा चाहिँ यदि उछ त्यसलाई हामीले हातले लगेर त्यसलाई चाहिँ खेदाउने प्रयास गर्छौं। हैन त्यो बस्तीमै बस्ने खोज्यो भने त्यसलाई चाहिँ रेस्क्यु गरेर रेस्क्यु सेन्टरमा राखेर चाहिँ व्यवस्थापन गर्ने काम गर्नुपर्छ जसले गर्दा चाहिँ मानव बाघ द्वन्द्व चाहिँ कम गर्न सकिन्छ।
The increasing tiger population has also influenced tiger behavior, with multiple adult males now competing within the same territories. To reduce encounters between humans and the wildcats, the park has introduced several initiatives, including the construction of water ponds, improved grassland management, and habitat restoration programs.
विभिन्न चाहिँ टेक्नोलोजी प्रयोग गरेर अवस्था छ। हामीले चाहिँ क्यामेरा ट्र्याप पनि सञ्चालन गर्दै रहेछौं र विभिन्न अबका दिनमा चाहिँ मेनली चाहिँ यसलाई चाहिँ बाघलाई आफ्नै वासस्थानमा राख्न सक्यौ भने बाहिर जान चाहिँ जाने वातावरण भयो भने कन्फ्लिक्ट आफै गर्छ। त्यसको लागि विशेष गरी हामीले habitat management-लाई नै फोकस गर्नुपर्ने देखिन्छ।
Conservation experts emphasize the future of tiger conservation will depend on maintaining a balance between protecting the species and safeguarding the livelihoods and the safety of local communities. From wildlife conservation to a story of hope in Nepal's far west. 2 siblings who once lived in a cave are now attending school, thanks to timely support from the local government. Along with educational assistance, their family is receiving help to build a safer and more secure future. This is the inspiring journey of Lakshmi and Deepak Bhatta from a cave to a classroom.
For Lakshmi and Deepak Bhatta, the journey from a cave to a classroom has finally become a reality. The siblings who once lived in a cave with their father in Doti's Dorail Rural Municipality in western Nepal are now enrolled in school and receiving the support needed to rebuild their lives. The 2 children had been living in a cave in Allari, Ward number 3, where extreme poverty had left them without regular access to education and many other basic necessities. necessities. After learning about the situation, Jorayal Rural Municipality stepped in, arranging school enrollment, accommodation, meals, clothing, and other essential care. The municipality has also begun the process of obtaining citizenship for the children's mother and says it plans to help the mother secure employment with the aim of improving the family's long-term living conditions.
अहिले जोरायल गाउँपालिकाले उहाँको खानपिन बसाइदेखि लिएर पढाइको लागि हामीले रत्न आधारको विद्यालयमा व्यवस्थापन गरेका छौँ र अहिले उनीहरू खुसी छ मतलब पढ्न पाएको छ लेख्न पाएको छ सबै कुरा राम्रो छ उनीहरू चाहिँ ओराडमा थियो उनीहरू एकदमै जङ्गली अवस्थामा थियो मान्छे देखेपछि तिनीहरू उहाँहरू भाग्ने अवस्थामा थियो भने
Beginning this academic session, Lakshmi Bhatta has been admitted to grade 3 and her younger brother Deepak to grade 1 at Ratna Basic School in Ward number 3. School officials say the children have been provided with learning materials and are receiving the support needed to adjust to a classroom environment after years of hardship.
यसै शैक्षिक सत्रदेखि दुईटा बालबालिकाहरूलाई भनौँ न उहाँको चाहिँ अलिकति असहाय गरिब बालबालिका भनेर चाहिँ यो विद्यालयमा भर्ना गरिएको छ र यो विद्यालयबाट हामीले चाहिँ अब उपलब्ध गराउने पाठ्यपुस्तकहरू अनि ड्रेसहरू र चाहिँ अन्य सुविधाहरू चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ प्रदान गरेर यहाँ चाहिँ पढाइराखेका छौँ.
The rural municipality says its support extends beyond education. The initiative has given the two children, once deprived of a stable home and formal education, a chance to build a different future. Local officials hope that the effort will encourage similar support for other vulnerable children and families facing extreme hardship across the country.
Next, we travel to eastern Nepal, nestled along the border of Bhojpur and Khotang. Kapase Bhanjang is steadily gaining recognition as an emerging tourist destination. Improved infrastructure and breathtaking mountain views are attracting an increasing number of domestic visitors, transforming this once hidden location into one of eastern Nepal's rising travel destinations.
Nature's hidden gem on the Bhojpur-Khotang border is fast becoming a must-visit destination. Local residents say tourist arrivals have grown after the development of infrastructure required for tourism promotion. During clear weather, visitors can enjoy spectacular views of various surrounding landscapes, attracting people seeking to experience the beauty of nature.
यहाँ भनेको मौसम अनुसार र चाडबाडको बारेमा चाहिँ एकदमै जमघट हुने नाता नालादेखि लिएर पर्यटकहरू पनि धेरै तर्फबाट आउने.
The local government has developed physical infrastructure at Kapase Bhanjang to facilitate both domestic and international tourism. Tourism-related facilities including a park, a statue of Yalambur, and other structures have been constructed. Visitors regularly arrive from different parts of Bhojpur and Khotang. Local residents believe that with greater publicity and promotion, the destination could also attract more international tourists.
धेरै नै मान्छे चाहिँ भित्रिरहेका हुनुहुन्छ. एक दुईजना, चार पाँचजना, आठ नौजना आइरहेका हुनुहुन्छ.
The ward office of Temkemayung Rural Municipality 9 stated that efforts are underway to develop Kapase Bhanjang into a major tourist destination. Since it lies at the junction of two districts, infrastructure development is being carried out in coordination with Khotang Rural Municipality of Khotang.
हामीले अहिले यो पर्यटन पूर्वाधारको लागि यहाँको संरक्षणको लागि हामीले काम गरिरहेका छौं. जस्तो यहाँ सुम्निमा पारुहाङको यहाँ मूर्ति छ. यो मूर्तिलाई संरक्षण गर्ने काम हामी 9 नम्बर वडाले नै गरेको र अरु पनि अझ के गर्न सकिन्छ हाम्रो क्षमताले भ्याएसम्म वडाको बजेटले धानेसम्म हामी यो कपासेलाई एउटा पर्यटन विकासको लागि केही काम गर्छौं भन्ने सोच छ.
According to the ward office, there are plans to extend the Mundung trekking trail to Kapase Bhanjang. With its green meadows, panoramic Himalayan views, and scenic vistas of the Tarai Plains, local residents say the destination is becoming increasingly attractive to visitors.
Now to Makwanpur, where construction of the Kathmandu-Tarai Madhya fast track continues under the management of the Nepal Army. While work is progressing, delays in land acquisition, land use clearance and tree felling approvals
continues to slow the project, raising questions over whether the ambitious national highway can meet its mid-April 2027 completion target.
The construction of the Kathmandu-Tarai Madhesh Fast Track, Nepal's first expressway project, continues to make steady progress. According to the Nepali Army, the National Pride project achieved 48.72% physical progress and 50.63% financial progress, including mobilization, as of mid-July 2026. The 70.977-kilometer fast track has a revised estimated cost of 211.93 billion rupees. The government of Nepal handed over responsibility for the project to the Nepali Army in 2017. However, construction officially began much later in 2021, owing to delays caused by the detailed project report's completion, consultant selection, and contract award process. Of the project's 7 tunnels, excavation has been completed on around 7 kilometers out of the total 11.21 kilometers planned. Secondary lining has been completed along 4.54 kilometers. Working on the Mahadevtar tunnel is 94% complete on the left tube and 84% complete on the right tube, while breakthrough has already been achieved on both tubes of the Dhedre and Lendara tunnels. Construction is also progressing rapidly on the remaining tunnels. Construction work is underway at 85 of the project's 89 bridge sites. So far, foundation work has been completed on 57 bridges, substructures on 38 bridges, and superstructures on 16 bridges. On the roadway, sub-base construction has been completed on 11.02 kilometers, base layer work on 5.8 kilometers, and asphalt paving on 1 kilometer of the main roadway. An additional 7 kilometers of service roads have also been paved. In the Nisgod section, construction of the superstructure for the animal underpass has been completed. Work on toll plazas, interchanges, slope protection, box culverts, optical fiber ducts, and electrical infrastructure is also continuing. Meanwhile, traders are elated as they say the fast track would improve connectivity between Kathmandu and the Tarai Plains, boost freight movement, and open new opportunities for industrial and commercial expansion.
मकवानपुर त obviously यो चाहिँ सेन्टरमा पर्ने कारणले मकवानपुरका उद्योगी व्यवसायीले त बेनिफिट पाउँछन् नै सँगसँगै बिरगञ्ज औद्योगिक करिडोरका चाहिँ यो पत्लादेखि बिरगञ्जसम्मका ठुला उद्योगहरू यता पूर्वका विराटनगरदेखिका चाहिँ उद्योगीहरू जस्तो चाहिँ चितवन बुटोलसम्मका उद्योगी व्यवसायीहरूले चाहिँ सस्तो सरल र चाहिँ सहजीकरण रूपमा चाहिँ काठमाडौँमा आफ्नो उत्पादन पुर्याउन सक्छन्.
Despite ongoing construction, unresolved issues related to land acquisition, securing land use rights, tree felling, and particularly the land dispute in the Khokana area of Lalitpur have made it seem unlikely that the project will be completed by the target deadline of mid-April of 2027.
This is the final report we have. With dengue season approaching, Tulsi sub-metropolitan city in Dang has stepped up preventive measures. Every Friday, teams are carrying out mosquito larva destruction campaigns and public awareness programs while encouraging residents to eliminate stagnant water and play an active role in preventing the spread of dengue. Authorities in Western Nepal's Dang district have intensified efforts to prevent a possible rise in dengue infections. As part of the initiative, Tulsipur Metropolitan City has launched a weekly dengue control campaign to be conducted every Friday as the risk of infection increases during the monsoon season from mid-July to mid-September. The campaign focuses on eliminating mosquito breeding sites and raising public awareness to help curb the spread of the disease. Local authorities say similar awareness campaigns have been conducted every year, but greater public participation is essential to make the initiative more effective.
डेंगू नियन्त्रण अभियानलाई सफल पार्नका निम्ति सम्पूर्ण रूपले डेंगूलाई खोज्ने काम र नष्ट गर्ने काममा साथ दिनुहुनेछ.
According to the public health section of Tulsipur Metropolitan City, 1,200 dengue cases were reported in the fiscal year 2081-82 compared to around 700 cases in the previous fiscal year, underscoring the continuing public health threat.
गत वर्ष 700 को आरआरमा केसहरू छ पहिलाको भन्दा धेरै केसहरू चाहिँ घटेको अवस्था छ मृत्यु दर पनि त्यस्तो चाहिँ घटेको अवस्था छैन 70 जना मात्र अस्पतालमा भर्ना भएर डिस्चार्ज भएर निको भएको अवस्था रहेको
Dengue is transmitted through the bite of an infected Aedes mosquitoes which breeds in stagnant water. Residents are urged to keep their surroundings clean, remove stagnant water and destroy mosquitoes' larvae to reduce the risk of infections. Medical experts also advise anyone experiencing symptoms of dengue to seek immediate medical attention rather than self-medicating. Beyond the cities and the headlines, real lives continue to unfold. Stories shaped by struggle, strengthened by resilience, and carried forward by hope. This is the hinterlands. And we will come back next week with more stories from the heart of Nepal. Do follow us on our website, nepaltelevision.com, social media handles, and the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye for now.
हिरण्यबाहवे हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यरूपाय हिरण्यपतये अम्बिकापतये उमापतये पशुपतये नमो नमः
Nepal's festivals are like colors on a canvas. Communities celebrate occasions that are as diverse as the country itself. These festivals hold deep personal meaning for individuals, going far beyond mere celebration. They are not just events. They are emotional, cultural, and spiritual lifelines that nurture identity, community, and inner happiness. For Nepalis, every festival, whether it honors gods, ancestors, nature, or the cycle of seasons, is ultimately a celebration of life itself. Birth, life, and death are all celebrated with utmost joy and separate rituals as per the communities. It's a reminder that life, like the changing seasons, is full of both light and shadow, and each festival teaches to embrace both with gratitude.
हरेक चाडपर्वमा एउटा एउटा हैन धान रोप्दाखेरि खेतमा हामी पूजा गरेर हुन्छौं धान थन्काउँदा हामीले हवन गरेर हुन्छौं नुहाई खाने भनेर भनिन्छ नवान्न प्राशनको विधानहरू छुट्टै छ त्यो सम्पूर्ण कुराहरूले हाम्रो प्रकृतिमा पनि त्यति नै सुप्रभाव पार्छ र मान्छेको शरीरमा मनमा र आत्मासम्म पनि यसले सुप्रभाव पार्छ आनन्द दिन्छ सत र चित राम्रो आनन्द र चिरकालसम्म रहने टिकाउ आनन्द दिन्छ भन्ने मान्यताले गर्दा फेरि यो सबै चाडपर्वहरू हामी मनाइरा हुन्छौं.
Major Hindu celebrations like Dasai and Tihar unite families in devotion and joy and is celebrated by majority of Nepalis. While Buddha Jayanti, Loshar, Sakela Udhauli, Shakela Ubhauli, Maghi Shankranti or Maghi showcase the spiritual and cultural vibrancy of Buddhist, Kirat and indigenous communities. Festivals such as Indrazatra, Gaizatra and Yomari Punhi blend history with celebration. For women, Tees and Rishi Panchami serve as expressions of faith and sisterhood. And in the Tarai, Chhat embodies purity, discipline and devotion to the sun and nature.
भौगोलिक हिसाबले सानो भइकन फेरि कस्तो भने जातिको हिसाबले पनि थुप्रै ट्राइबहरू भएको यो सबै एउटै जातिको मात्रै छैन तर हामीका धार्मिक सहिष्णुता छ रिलिजियस टलरेन्स भन्छौं त्यो विश्वलाई हामीले दिएको एउटा उदाहरण हो हामीका हिन्दूहरुको चाडपर्व पनि बौद्धहरुले पनि मनाउँछन् इस्लामहरुले पनि मनाइराखेका हुन्छन् नितान्त हिन्दूहरुको जस्तो लक्ष्मी पूजाको कुरा गर्यो दशैंकी कुरा गर्यो यहाँ राष्ट्र प्रमुखहरु भएको बेलामा हिन्दूहरु बाहेक अन्य धर्मावलम्बीहरु पनि टीका थाप्नलाई हामीका आशीर्वाद लिने चलन छ त्यो लिनलाई गइराखेका हुन्छन्.
Festivals here reflect its rich cultural diversity and deep sense of community. Shared laughter, music and rituals foster emotional healing and strengthen social bonds. Experts say gatherings and celebrations nurture positivity, hope and meaning.
यो त एकदमै ठुलो कस्तो कुरा रहेछ भने यो रिचार्ज गर्ने भन्छ नि हामी गरिरहेको परम्पराबाट गरिरहेको यस्ता कार्यहरू गर्दा चाहिँ हामीमा के हुन्छ त स्वतस्फूर्त रूपमा हामी चाहिँ नि एकदम फेरि अब हामीलाई एउटा भित्रबाट पनि शान्ति मिल्छ सुख मिल्छ त्यसकारण यो चाहिँ आवश्यकै चीज हो.
Amid modernization, festivals remain vital anchors connecting people to their culture and roots. The togetherness of families, the glow of butter lamps in monasteries during Loshar, and the rhythm of dhime drums in Nevari processions all tell the same story. Nepal is a land where festivals are the very heartbeat of its people.
What if I told you a story of a place shrouded in mystery and steeped in stones? A place where warriors were born and raised, and their path through the mountains still remain to this day. Ajirkot Gorkha, the unbeaten kingdom.
हामी पाहुनाहरू आउनु हुँदाखेरि हामी यसरी स्वागत गर्छौं अनि अलि नाचगानहरू देखाउँछौं गर्व लाग्छ जन्मिएछु साँच्चै स्वर्गमा म त नेपालकी छोरी भन्छन् गोर्खाली नाचहरू जस्तो घाटु चुड्काहरू भन्ने चाहिँ विशेष गरी हुन्छ यहाँ
For those seeking a luxurious escape, there are stunning lodges that offer an indulgent retreat amidst the rugged beauty of this place. For the true adventurers, this place has it all, from trekking through dense forest of Nagepokari trails to exploring ancient temples and learning the rich history of the region. So, what do you fancy? Are you the solo explorer, or do you prefer luxury within nature? Or perhaps you are the one who seeks to witness it all. Well, after all, life is a box of chocolates, and this place is filled with surprises. Welcome to the place where magic and reality intertwine, where the wonders of nature are both breathtaking and awe-inspiring. From the elevations of 300 meters to a towering 8,000 meters, this place will leave you mesmerized and in awe.
Curfew lifted in Sunsari as situation gradually returning to normalcy in various Tarai Madhesh districts. Home Minister Gurung reaches Dhanusa to hold talks. Nepal's Prime Minister Shah pays tribute to Nirmal Purja and 5 Nepali climbers killed on Pakistan's Broad Peak avalanche. Nepal marks National Millet Day amid concerns over declining production. Imports also rise despite status as Nepal's native crop. Spain says 67 killed while attempting to reach its North African enclave of Ceuta. Also lashes response of some EU countries. Russian missile strikes on Kyiv kill at least 9. Ukrainian drones sink Russian-owned ship in the Black Sea. And Nepal to miss SAF Championship 2026 due to FIFA suspension. Tournament to be held in Bangladesh from 4th November. Hello there, I am Ipulagi Singh Lama. This is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. Authorities in Sunsari district of southeastern Nepal have partially lifted a curfew imposed earlier following unrest, allowing public movement from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time while keeping other security restrictions in place. The curfew was enforced on July 28th after incidents of tension and disruptions with local authorities citing concerns over public safety and maintaining law and order. Although daytime movement has been permitted, prohibitory orders remain active in several municipalities and rural areas, including parts of the Mahendra Highway corridor. Under Nepal's Local Administration Act, authorities have restricted gatherings of more than 5 people and prohibited processions, demonstrations, public meetings and sit-ins in the affected areas until further notice. Similar security measures have also been implemented in other districts following incidents of unrest, with district administrations taking steps to prevent further disturbances and maintain social harmony. Officials said the restrictions would be reviewed based on the evolving security situation and public order conditions. Security agencies have urged residents to follow official directives and avoid activities that could disrupt peace and stability. Meanwhile, Home Minister Sudan Gurung has arrived in Dhanusa today to normalize the situation of clashes between two communities and bolster peace and security in the country. Minister Gurung held dialogue with representatives of the local Hindu-related organizations at the office of the Dhanusa District Administration Office in order to normalize the situation and maintain religious and social goodwill. The discussion revolved around overall situation of peace and security in the district and issues of keeping normal life and ending misunderstanding between the two communities. Chief of Janakpur Dham, Sub-Metropolitan City, Manoj Kumar Shah, House of Representatives member Manish Jha, and representatives of Hindu Samrat Sena participated in the meeting. Now, Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah has paid tribute to renowned mountaineer Nirmal Purja, also known as Nimsdai, and 5 Nepali climbers who lost their lives in an avalanche in Pakistan's Broad Peak. The Prime Minister expressed condolences to the bereaved families, calling mountaineer a symbol of courage, sacrifice and human endurance. Purja and fellow climbers died after an avalanche struck the 8,051-meter Broad Peak on Thursday. Their bodies were later identified by the rescue team. We will bring a detailed report on the tragedy in our segment Issue of the Day later in the bulletin. Nepal has marked the second National Millet Day today with programs aimed at promoting and conserving millet cultivation. Agriculture experts have called for increased production of the native crop, citing its nutritional value and low production cost, while warning that rising imports are affecting local farmers. Despite being a native crop with a long history of cultivation, government data shows Nepal's millet imports continue to rise. We will bring an in-depth coverage on Millet Day celebrations and declining production later in the bulletin. Moving on, Spain has condemned the selfish, polarizing and unlawful reaction of some EU countries to the influx of about 60,000 migrants from Morocco to Ceuta. It comes after Italy temporarily suspended the EU's border-free Schengen arrangement with Spain, as Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said that the scenes were shocking. Finland and Denmark backed Italy's move, while Czech Prime Minister Andrej Babiš urged a temporary suspension of Spain's Schengen membership. Meanwhile, 22 of the EU's 27 countries also called for emergency talks in an open letter citing serious concerns regarding the developments of Ceuta. At least 9 people have been killed in Russian ballistic missile strikes on Kyiv, local officials have said. Now a further 28 people were injured in the attack on the Ukrainian capital on Saturday morning, according to the country's state emergency service. Moscow has escalated deadly ballistic missile attacks on Kyiv recently, prompting President Zelensky to say that the missile interceptors are urgently needed. Separately, Ukrainian drones sank a Russian-owned container ship in the Black Sea, according to Zelensky. In other news, Nepal will not participate in the region's premier football tournament, the SAF Championship 2026, after being excluded from the group draw announced by the South Asian Football Federation, SAF, today. The tournament is scheduled to be held in Bangladesh for November 4 to 17. Nepal's absence is linked to the suspension imposed on the All Nepal Football Association, ANFA, by World Football Governing Body, FIFA. FIFA suspended ANFA on June 25th, making Nepal ineligible to participate in international competitions as long as the suspension remains in place. SAF has said Nepal could still be included in Group A if FIFA lifts the suspension within the required time frame. However, if the suspension continues, Nepal will miss the SAF Championship for the first time in the tournament's history. Mountaineer Nirmal Purja redefined the limits of human endurance and inspired millions around the world. Now a legendary British Nepali mountaineer is feared death after a deadly avalanche on Pakistan's Broad Peak. Stay with us as we look back at the extraordinary life record-breaking achievements and tragic final expedition of one of mountaineering's greatest icons. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Welcome back. Prime Minister Balendra Shah has expressed condolences after world-renowned mountaineer Nirmal Purja and 5 Nepali climbers have died in an avalanche on Pakistan's Broad Peak while leading an international expedition. The avalanche struck between camps 2 and 3 on Thursday while they were on an international expedition. Bijeta Bhandari looks more.
Prime Minister Balendra Shah has expressed condolences over the deaths of world-renowned mountaineer Nirmal Purja and 5 other Nepali climbers following an avalanche on Broad Peak, the world's 12th highest mountain in Pakistan's Karakoram range. PM Shah said mountaineering is not merely about reaching summits, but represents the highest form of courage, discipline, sacrifice, and the human determination to push beyond limits. The official information that all the climbers had died was released today through social media by the Nimstai Foundation and Elite Expeditions after search and recovery operations were carried out in the remote mountain region. The avalanche struck between camps 2 and 3 on Thursday while Purja was leading an international expedition. Born in Nepal's hilly western district of Myagdi, Purja joined the British Army as a Gurkha at the age of 18 in 2003 before becoming one of the world's most renowned climbers. The other deceased Nepali climbers, Purbahadur Gurung, hailed from Gorkha, Kili Pemba Sherpa was from Dolakha, Gyalu Sherpa was from Okhaldunga, and Nawong Thindu Sherpa and Nima Sherpa were from Sangkhwasapa. The other deceased climbers were from Oman, Pakistan, and the United States. Purja rose to global fame in 2019 after climbing all 14 of the world's 8,000-meter peaks in a record 189 days, a feat featured in the Netflix documentary 14 Peaks, Nothing is Impossible. Known internationally as Nimstai, Purja also led the first successful winter ascent of K2 in 2021, completed numerous Everest and Himalayan ascents without supplemental oxygen, and was widely praised for rescuing climbers in dangerous conditions.
5 of us, all the Nepalese mountaineers, made it to the summit, and we made it not only for us, we made it for everybody.
In his final social media post on X on Monday, Purja said he had initially planned to climb only G2 but decided to attempt Broad Peak as well. The ascent would have brought him one summit away from becoming the first person to climb all 14 peaks above 8,000 meters twice without supplemental oxygen. However, the feat now remains incomplete following the tragic avalanche. Meanwhile, tributes continue to pour in from Nepal and around the world, with climbers and leaders remembering Nirmal Purja and other climbers whose achievements transformed high-altitude mountaineering and inspired a new generation of adventurers.
Moving on, while monthly social security allowances have provided some relief, they have not addressed the community's deeper economic and social challenges. After the break, the Rajis say meaningful change depends on land rights, education, and sustainable livelihoods. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Time for the cover story. For decades, Nepal's endangered Raji community has struggled to survive in the forest and along the rivers while enduring severe poverty. To support this highly marginalized indigenous community, the government of Nepal introduced a social security allowance more than 2 decades ago. Now, however, many Raji families remain landless, vulnerable to floods, and without stable sources of income. Diksha Awasthi with Durga Kumari Upadhyay brings more.
पहिला भन्दा त खाना त पाइन्छ पहिला त धेरै दुःख पाइयो 4-5 दिनको भोकले पनि एक छाक पनि खान पाइएन कति भोगियो कति के गरियो अहिले भर्खर अलिअलि सजिलो भएछ.
The Raji are one of Nepal's most endangered and marginalized indigenous communities. Despite decades of government support, many families continue to struggle with poverty, landlessness, and limited opportunities. For 63-year-old Jalu Raji of Bhajani municipality in Koilali, life has always been closely tied to the forest and rivers. She is one of the representatives of Raji community. Once a nomadic people, the Raji traditionally lived along riverbanks and in forest, surviving by catching fish and gathering wild roots and tubers. In 2062 BS, the government of Nepal introduced a monthly social security allowance for members of the endangered Raji community. Permanent settlements were also established, helping many families move away from the traditional nomadic lifestyle. But while their way of life had changed, many of their challenges remain. Most Raji families still do not own registered land. Jobs are scarce, and the small plots they cultivate are often damaged by floods from the Kandra River, leaving farming an unreliable source of income. For many households, the monthly allowance has become their main means of survival. Community members say it has helped reduce hunger, but it has not lifted them out of poverty. The Raji community is concentrated in Koilali, Bardia,
Surkhet and Chitwan districts. According to 2021 National Population and Housing Census, Nepal is home to 5,125 Raji people. More than half, that is 2,521, live in Sudur Pashchim province, including 2,375 in Kailali and 113 in Kanchanpur.
घर अग्लो बनाइदिए भए हुन्थ्यो अनि बाढी आउँछ हाम्रो समस्या
पहिला पुर्ख्यौले चाहिँ त्यो मह र के गिठा नै निकाल्थे त्यहीमा मान्छे पहिला सिन्थे अनि यही अलिअलि काहीँ मजुरी गर्थे
अब कहाँ सजिलो रहे पहिले सजिलो रहे पहिले जाउन चीज फिर बढ़े रहा था अब तो डॉक्टर बिना नहीं बना
Community members say government support should go beyond monthly allowances. They are calling for secure land ownership, safer housing, better education, and sustainable employment opportunities, measures they believe are essential to ensuring a dignified and self-reliant future for the Raji community. Now, in this context, we spoke with members of the Raji community to understand the challenges they faced and their expectations. Let's hear what they had to say.
पहिला हाम्रो यस्तो अवस्था थिएन हामी धेरै गरिब थियौं पहिला हामीलाई साँझ खाएपछि बिहान के खाम जस्तो पनि कहिलेकाहीँ यस्तो हुन्थ्यो किनकि हामीले खेती पनि गर्न सक्दैन थियौं किनकि सब खेती गर्नलाई पनि पैसा नै चाहिन्थ्यो अहिले सरकारले सुरक्षा भत्ता दिनु भएको छ
सरकारले त अब त्यही व्यवस्थाहरू गरिदिए भए हुन्थ्यो अब हाम्रो पक्की पुलको यहाँ जरुरी छ अब त्यो लाल पुल जरुरी छ अब धेरै कुरा त के भनौं त्यति नै भन्ने छ
तटबन्धन लगाइदिए भए हाम्रो खेतहरू नक्सान हुनबाट बच्थ्यो कि अलि त्यस्तो समस्याहरू छन्
मेरो त छोराछोरी पनि छैन अहिले त उसले बट्टा मिल्छ गुजारा गर्छ पछि के गरौँला पठा नपाएपछि छोराछोरी पनि छैन केही पनि छैन कोही पनि छैन बुढाबुढी मात्रै
पहिले त मजुरी गरेर खान्थे अब अलिअलि सरकारले दिएछ त्यही पनि अलि कहीँ थापिदिने भनेको नै हामीहरू पनि उच्च
मलाई चाहिँ मतलब बच्चाहरूलाई पनि मतलब 12 सम्म फ्री गराइदिएको भए हुन्थ्यो अहिलेसम्म फ्रीमा कहाँ पढ्न पाछन् र बच्चाले पनि जस्तै घर पनि अहिले सबकै यस्तै कच्ची घर मात्रै छ पक्की गराइदिएको भए पनि हुन्थ्यो
That was the cover story of the day. Now we move on to other updates. Life is gradually returning to normal in Nepal's southern Madhya province after days of violent unrest that claimed 3 lives and injured several others. Authorities have lifted curfews in the hardest hit districts. Businesses are reopening and peace initiatives by the government and local communities are helping restore calm, although security remains heightened in some areas. Let's take a look.
The situation across Nepal's southern Madhya province, which borders India and is home to a large and culturally diverse population, is steadily returning to normal after several days of violent unrest. The tensions began earlier this week in Dewanganj in Sunsari district following a local dispute that escalated into clashes. The unrest later spread to other districts including Siraha, Subsidiary and Dhanusha, disrupting daily life and prompting authorities to impose curfews and security restrictions. Now, officials say the security situation has improved significantly. Curfews have been lifted in Sunsari and Dhanusha, while restrictions have also been eased in Lahan, the main town of Siraha district. Markets are reopening, public transportation has resumed, and both two-wheelers and larger vehicles are once again operating along Nepal's east-west highway, the country's main transport corridor linking the eastern and western regions.
यो कारणले देशवासीमा र समाजमा लगायत व्यापारी सम्पूर्ण अभिन्न देशका जति अंगहरू छन् सबैमा असर पर्छ
बन्द हडताल नै हो कि चाहिँ हैन भरहल छ जे भेले भेले यसले गर्दा जनजीवन धेरै प्रभावित हुन्छ कोही हिसाबको पहल हो कि चाहिँ सरकारको वही किसिमको पहल गर्नु चाहिँ मिलके चल पर्ले तबे शान्त है
कोनो भी समस्या पर्ले त ओके लागि समाधान बहुतै किसिमके है छ नि समझौता कर पर्ले सरकार से
The government says coordinated efforts by security agencies, political parties, and civil society have contributed to the improving situation. A key development came after Nepal's Home Minister Sudan Gurung visited the family of Ganesh Yadav, who was killed during the violence in Golbazar, Siraha.
स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा पनि उहाँलाई निशुल्क गरिदिनु पर्यो भनेर भन्ने उहाँहरूले माग राख्नु भएको थियो। 5 वटा माग मध्येमा हामीले अर्को 3टा माग अझै हामीले थप्यौं। हामी आफ्नै तर्फबाट हामीले थप्यौं। अरु केही मागहरु तपाईले थप्नु पर्छ कि भन्ने कुराहरु गर्दै गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ उहाँले चाहिँ हाम्रो बुवा चाहिँ बिरामी हुँदो रहेछ, त्यसको लागि निशुल्क उपचार भइदिए राम्रो हुन्थ्यो कि भन्ने उहाँले कुरा गर्नुभएको थियो। हामीले त्यही अनुसारमा हुन्छ, हामीले त्यसमा नै हामी गर्न सक्छौं।
Despite the easing tensions, authorities say security remains heightened in some areas to prevent any further violence. At the same time, communities across the province are organizing social harmony rallies aimed at promoting peace and coexistence. Demonstrations bringing together local residents, political leaders, civil society organizations, and community representatives have been held in Mirchaya in Siraha, Rajbiraz in Saptari, and Janakpur, the capital of Madhya province. According to the government, the recent violence in Sunsari and Siraha claimed 3 lives and injured several others. Those injured are continuing to receive medical treatment, with officials pledging that all necessary health care will be provided. The government has also reiterated its commitment to conduct a fair investigation and hold those responsible accountable. Beyond official efforts, business leaders, community groups, and ordinary citizens are also working to discourage further violence and preserve social harmony. Peace marches have even been organized in areas that were not directly affected by the unrest, reflecting broader efforts to prevent tensions from spreading and to restore confidence across the province.
Nepal Oil Corporation has begun selling cooking LPG cylinders from its Teku office in Kathmandu in an effort to streamline supplies amid consumer complaints of shortages. The state-owned fuel supplier says there is no nationwide shortage, citing strong import volumes, and attributes recent supply disruptions to the transition from 7.1 kilogram to 14.2 kilogram cylinders, adding that the situation should normalize within a week. However, consumers in Kathmandu and other parts of the country say they are still struggling to obtain LPG, with many retailers reporting they have not received fresh supplies. The corporation has urged the public to avoid panic buying, purchase gas only as needed, prioritize household use, and report supply problems through its hotline. Nepal's Department of Passports has expanded its services by operating in 2 shifts and opening on public holidays to manage the increasing number of service seekers. The department in Kathmandu's Tripureshwar is currently providing services under the extended schedule. Since July 14, it has been issuing 1,500 application forms daily, with employees working in 2 shifts to speed up service delivery. The move aims to facilitate Nepali applicants seeking to participate in South Korea's employment permit system by ensuring easier access to electronic passport services. The first shift operates from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., while the second shift runs from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. The department will also remain open on public holidays, including Saturdays and Sundays, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to provide services to applicants. Now, Nepal is betting on digital reform to attract foreign investment. The government says it has finished converting its one-stop service center, the single office meant to fast-track industry approvals, into a completely digital system. The goal: let investors handle everything from company registration to land acquisition on one online platform without ever walking into a government office. Smitu Kising Tamang, along with Kamala Ariel, brings more.
For years, setting up a business in Nepal has meant navigating a maze of separate government offices. One for company registration, another for tax, another for land, another for electricity connections. Investors, both local and foreign, have long complained that this fragmented process slows down projects and discourages investment in one of South Asia's smaller landlocked economies. Now, the government says that's changing. The Department of Industry has completed work to digitize its one-stop service center, often called the OSSC, and is refining it into what officials call a single-point service system. Once fully rolled out, investors will be able to apply for foreign investment approval, register a company, handle tax registration, secure land and forest-related clearances, register their industry, and even arrange electricity and infrastructure connections all through one digital platform. Behind the scenes, the government is linking up the databases of multiple agencies so they can talk to each other. According to the Department of Industry, the system is already integrated with the Immigration Department, the Company Registrar's Office, and Customs. Linking with Nepal's central bank, the Nepal Rashtra Bank, is in its final stage. Officials say the payoff for investors will be simple. No more submitting the same paperwork to 5 different offices. Information will move automatically between agencies, cutting delays and, they hope, cutting corruption risk that comes with repeated in-person visits. 14 government bodies in total, including the Departments of Inland Revenue, Forest and Energy, are being brought into the coordinated system.
यो अहिले भएको एकल बिन्दु सेवा केन्द्रको प्रभावकारिताका सन्दर्भमा जुन यो भौतिक रूपमा यहाँ छ, यसलाई चाहिँ अहिले हामीले डिजिटल अथवा अनलाइन अथवा भर्चुअल रूपमा सञ्चालन गर्ने गरी अब सिस्टमको विकास गरिराखेका छौं। यसलाई हामीले अनलाइनमा लगेर अहिले यहाँ जति पनि निकायहरूको संलग्नता रहन्छ अथवा थप रहनुपर्ने हो, अब त्यो चाहिँ आफआफ्नै निकायमा बसेर हाम्रो सिस्टम प्लेटफर्म मार्फत काम गर्न सक्ने गरी र अनलाइनबाटै सेवा दिन सक्ने गरी हामी त्यसरी मिलाउन लागिरहेका छौं।
The department is optimistic the fully digital single window system will make establishing an industry, securing investment approval, and managing that investment faster, simpler, and more investment friendly. But there's a note of caution here. This isn't the first time Nepal has promised to fix its one-stop service. Previous attempts to streamline the OSSC have been announced before, only to stall in implementation, a pattern that has left many investors watching this latest push with cautious rather than full confidence. For now, the government says the digital backbone is largely built. The real test will be whether it actually delivers the faster, friction-free investment climate Nepal has promised for years.
Nepal marked the second National Millet Day today, aiming to promote indigenous millet, boost production and strengthen nutrition security. But despite the observance, new figures show that both the area under millet cultivation and overall production continue to decline across Nepal. Rojina Rai with our local correspondent Anil Khatri from Gulmi brings the report.
The second National Millet Day is observed across Nepal with the slogan Conserving and Promoting Millet Crops for Food and Nutrition Security. Following the United Nations declaration of 2023 as the International Year of Millets, Nepal has stepped up efforts to conserve, promote and expand millet cultivation. The day aims to protect indigenous crops, promote nutritious food systems and encourage farmers to expand millet cultivation. Although millet is grown in all 77 districts of Nepal, hilly districts such as Gulmi, Arghakhachi, Bhutan, Palpa, Baglung and Sangza remain the country's major production hubs. Despite its nutrition importance, the government data shows that the cultivation and overall millet production have been declining in recent years. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, millet was cultivated on 224,935 hectares of land, producing 300,732 metric tons in the fiscal year 2023-24. In 2024-25, the cultivated area declined to 214,477 hectares, while production dropped to 284,352 metric tons. A similar declining trend has been observed in Gulmi and other hilly districts of the country. Several millet varieties, including kodo, finger millet, junelo, sorghum millet, kaguno foxtail millet, and chino proso millet, are cultivated across Nepal's diverse agroclimatic zones.
कोदो एकदम जहाँ रोपे पनि फल्छ तर यसको लगानी ठुलो छ अब यो लगानीको लागि अलि कृषिलाई चाहिने अलि राज्यले पनि हेर्ने
कोदो रोपेको हो के मरे खेत 300 350 भन्छन्
traditionally used to prepare dhiro, a traditional Nepali staple food, flatbread, and local beverages. Millet is now gaining popularity among people as the demand for healthy and nutritious food continues to rise. Meanwhile, farmers in Rumzatar, Okhaldunga in eastern Nepal also celebrated the second National Millet Day by emphasizing the conservation, promotion, and branding of millet and millet-based products. On the occasion, 7 leading millet farmers were honored for their outstanding contribution to millet cultivation.
World Breastfeeding Week has begun, marking the annual global campaign held during the first week of August to promote breastfeeding and improve maternal and child health. This year's theme, Breastfeeding for a Sustainable Start to Life, Strengthening Effective Practices, highlights the need for stronger support for mothers and newborns through healthcare systems, communities, workplaces, and public policy. Backed by the WHO, UNICEF, and health ministries worldwide, the campaign aims to improve access to breastfeeding counseling and support, which remains inadequate for many families. Health experts say breastfeeding provides essential nutrition, strengthens infants' immune systems, supports brain development, and also reduces mothers' risk of diseases such as breast and ovarian cancer and type 2 diabetes. In Nepal, where breastfeeding rates have declined in recent years, a series of awareness programs will be held throughout the week to encourage and support effective breastfeeding practices. Now, Deepmala Dhakal has been crowned Miss Nepal World 2026 in the grand finale held in Kathmandu earlier today. Arya Nishant was named Miss Nepal International 2026, while Kashish Subba won the Miss Nepal Cosmo 2026 title. The event was centered on the theme Top of the World, inspired by Nepal's mountain heritage. The evening opened with a tribute to mountaineers from around the world, followed by a dance performance titled Mountain Silhouette, featuring all 24 finalists. The finalists came from diverse professional backgrounds, including medicine, law, engineer, and entrepreneurship. Now, before we check more updates, let's have a reminder of the top stories. Curfew lifted in Sunsari as situation gradually returning to normalcy in various Tarai Madhesh districts. Home Minister Gurung reaches Dhanusa to hold talks. Nepal's Prime Minister Shah pays tribute to Nirmal Purja and 5 Nepali climbers killed on Pakistan's Broad Peak avalanche. Nepal marks National Millet Day amid concerns over declining production. Imports also rise despite status as Nepal's native crop. Spain says 67 killing while attempting to reach its North African enclave of Ceuta also lashes response of some EU countries. Russian missiles strikes on Kyiv kill at least 9 Ukrainian drones sink Russian-owned ship in the Black Sea. And Nepal to miss a SAF Championship 2026 due to FIFA suspension. Tournament to be held in Bangladesh from 4th of November. The United States has intensified its pressure on Iran, with U.S. Central Command confirming it has redirected 30 commercial vessels, disabled 2 ships, and boarded 2 others as part of its maritime blockade through July 31st. Speaking during a cabinet meeting, U.S. President Donald Trump said Iran must never be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon. On Gaza, Trump said he has reached an understanding with Israel on a plan to disarm Hamas, describing it as a major breakthrough.
In less than 18 months, we've turned around 4 years of disaster. We now have the strongest border in American history. We went from the worst border, I believe, of any country in history. 25 million people came through in 4 years. And these are people that, in many cases, you don't want. They were murderers, they were drug dealers, they were people that you do not want. But now we have the strongest border.
A truck loaded with explosives detonated outside a police station in the Colombian border city of Cucuta, triggering a major security response just 6 days before the inauguration of President-elect Abelardo de la Espierala. The blast occurred near the Venezuelan border, with authorities assessing the extent of the damage and investigating those responsible. Security has been heightened amid concerns over potential threats ahead of the presidential inauguration. Now, officials have said that the investigation remains ongoing. Now, at least 5 people have died as relentless heavy rain triggered floods and landslides across the southern Indian state of Kerala. A woman was killed after a landslide buried her home in the hilly Idukki district, while rescue teams are searching for several people feared trapped beneath debris in Kottayam district. India's weather agency has issued a red alert for 9 districts, warning of more heavy rainfall, thunderstorms, lightning and wind gusts of up to 60 kilometers per hour. The highest alert remains in place for several districts, including as authorities urge residents in vulnerable areas to remain indoors and follow evacuation orders where necessary. Cosplayers from around the world paraded through Nagoya for the 2026 World Cosplay Summit as organizers prepare to move the event to autumn starting from 2027 amid increasingly intense summer heat and growing concerns over participants' safety. The annual event brought together thousands of cosplay enthusiasts dressed as characters from popular anime, manga, games and other forms of pop culture. Participants showcased elaborate costumes and performances, turning the streets of Nagoya into a vibrant display of creativity and freedom. Organizers said the seasonal shift is aimed at providing a safer and more comfortable environment for performers and visitors as extreme heat continues to affect summer events. The World Cosplay Summit has become one of Japan's biggest international cosplay gatherings, attracting participants and fans from across the globe. Business news lined up next. For now, a short breather.
BP has said it is putting its North Sea business up for sale in a move that would end 60 years of production in the region by the oil giant. The decision follows a review of BP's operations as it seeks to slim down the group. Its North Sea business have 5 production hubs, 2 in the central North Sea and 3 west of Shetland, and employs about 1,100 people. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Andy Burnham said he told US President Donald Trump he would take a pragmatic approach to the issue of North Sea oil and gas. Trump, some trade unions, industry figures, and some Labour MPs all back increased drilling in the North Sea. U.S. Federal Trade Commission has approved quantum computing company Ionix's $1.8 billion acquisition of semiconductor manufacturer SkyWater Technology. The decision came after FTC leaders failed to agree on whether the merger should include conditions to protect competition. Chairman Andrew Ferguson has proposed requiring Ionix to guarantee fair access to SkyWater's manufacturing services for rival quantum computing companies. However, Commissioner Mark Meador argued the deal would not reduce competition. With no agreement on conditions, the FTC cleared the acquisition, allowing the merger to move forward. SkyWater is the largest US-based semiconductor foundry, and the deal is expected to strengthen America's growing quantum computing and advanced chip manufacturing industry. Chinese electric vehicle giant BYD has reported its third consecutive month of rising global sales driven by strong demand in overseas markets. The company sold more than 419,000 vehicles worldwide in July, an increase of nearly 22% compared with the same month last year. International sales were the standout performer, with overseas shipments of passenger vehicles and pickup trucks soaring more than 124% year-on-year to almost 180,000 units. The strong export growth has helped offset softer demand in China's domestic market, reinforcing BYD's position as one of the world's fastest-growing electric vehicle manufacturers as it continues to expand its global presence. OpenAI has uncovered additional cases of autonomous AI agents escaping their intended testing environments as it broadens its investigation into a recent hacking incident involving tech platform Hugging Face. The newly identified incidents were limited in scope, and there is no indication that any AI agent left OpenAI's internal network. The company says it is reviewing broader activity across its AI models as part of the ongoing investigation into the security breach. The findings are expected to intensify global discussions over AI safety and regulation as governments and industry leaders weigh the risk of increasingly autonomous artificial intelligence systems.
Time now for sports update. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has withdrawn a controversial proposal to sell a stake in the commercial rights of the FIFA World Cup after facing strong opposition from the global football community. The plan aimed to raise up to $4.2 billion by selling around a 20% stake in a new entity that would manage FIFA's major tournaments, including the men's and women's World Cups. Infantino said the proposal had become too divisive and confirmed it would not move forward. The proposal had also drawn criticism over concerns that private investment could increase commercial influence over the governance of the world's biggest football tournaments. Meanwhile, UEFA says it has lost confidence in Gianni Infantino's FIFA leadership as the fallout from the scrapped controversial investment plan intensifies. This followed after Infantino said FIFA would no longer proceed with the proposal to sell stakes in the governing body's competitions to private investors. Now, UEFA, which governs European football, had earlier voted to boycott World Cups if the plans went ahead, and other governing bodies also voiced their opposition. UEFA has said it welcomed the decision to withdraw the plan, describing it as a victory for the whole game. The fallout from the plans means Infantino is now under immense pressure as he seeks re-election for a fourth term as president at the FIFA Congress in March. Now to weather updates. Nepal's Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has warned of a moderate risk of sudden flooding in small rivers and streams across 39 districts as monsoon activity increases. The department has forecast rainfall in most parts of the country over the next 3 to 4 days and urged people to exercise caution while traveling near rivers and streams. According to the department, the monsoon system will remain active across the country during the period, with chances of rainfall in many areas. Heavy rainfall is likely in the hilly regions of Bagmati and Gandaki provinces, as well as some parts of the Tarai. A yellow alert was issued for today, while an orange alert has been issued for some districts for tomorrow. Meteorologists said rainfall has not been evenly distributed across the country as the low-pressure system formed over the Bay of Bengal has not become as active as expected. However, with the monsoon system gaining further strength, heavier rainfall is likely in the coming days. Now to more updates, first from Nepal and then across the world.